Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
Okay, welcome and hello. It's eRacing GP. My name's Alex Young, and with me, Amo Hazik. Amo, good to be back. We are at the Endurance Edition, Round 3. What are you looking forward to?
Well, looking forward to a lot of late braking action because Misano World Circuit Manco Simoncelli is literally just like the namesake of the guy that lent his name to his circuit. A lot of late braking areas, and we're going to see a lot of side-by-side action today, Alex.
Yeah, and there is that track right now, the Misano World Circuit. Like you said, clockwise. I've actually driven the circuit a couple times way back in the late 90s, but back then it was anti-clockwise, so it always does my head in to see people racing this track clockwise. But great track to be. Okay, so here we are. You can see the guys are in qualifying right now. GT4 qualifying starting. First 15 minutes of GT4, and then the last 15 minutes is GT3. At the moment, Hold My Beer Racing, who's the championship leader, is third at the moment, but still got enough time to improve. Let's go look at the championship positions right now. And you can see this is the Pro class. We have three classes, of course. The Pro class and the GT3 cars. Stratos Flash back in the championship lead after Celsius Autosport won the last round. JMX Phantom actually won it on the track, but had a small post-race penalty, which put them back to second, and that's why they're second in the championship. But it's going to go on and on. This is going to be super close all year. And of course, Laundry House and Legion of Racers in fourth and fifth. Those are two teams that are going to be very strong indeed. On to the Pro-Am Championships. Quite close there, isn't it? Quite surprised to see Z Challenger up there.
Actually, the biggest surprise is Allen Racing in second place. It's run by a kid who's actually 9 years old, and he is showing 10.
Just turned 10.
Yeah, just turned 10. So showing the way on how to be so good at such a young age.
Absolutely. GSR Motorsport then P3, Veloce Ragazza in fourth, and Formula JDZ in fifth. Onto the AM class there, and you can see Hold My Beer Racing, we just mentioned them. They are at the top right now. They're going through qualifying. JMX Jr. is there in second position. That's going to be a very close battle. And Team Racing Line in third. To be honest, I can't call it. These three are going to go all year as well. They've been super fast all season.
So close. And the fact that Hold My Beer Racing, the 777 car, they just got their first ever win in the championship last time out in Kyalami. So really then, they will try to build on this championship momentum and try to actually put a stranglehold on it. Likewise, Rising Line number 57, who are second in the qualifying session right now, are also trying to search for their first win. So it was quite close last time in Kyalami, but Hold My Beer Racing just edged them out.
Yeah, there they are right now on screen trying to complete a lap. Not going to be quickest at the moment. They are P3, but these are the guys in P1 in the Aston. I'm a little bit surprised they chose the Aston.
Yeah, actually, they've been with the Aston for the last few rounds anyway, since the very beginning. So this particular car for Veloce Ragazzo have a crack team of drivers in there. They can actually show on their day to be quite fast. We include the likes of Angelo Lapuz, who we've seen before in Global Edition, and of course Lance Padilla. at the moment at least, they actually got their brand new driver for this round, Joshua Nabus, to drive for this one. And look at that, he's doing the business. 5/10 of a second faster in GT4 AM right now.
Yeah, I guess maybe I shouldn't say that it's a surprise to the Aston. It's a surprise to see it so fast. I think this is the first time they've been challenging for pole. We've seen them quick, especially last year in 2021. But this year, the first 2 rounds, they've not really been fighting at the front. So really good to see. Something's clicked, obviously, for this Philippines-based team, and they are looking much stronger. Now, they're on a good lap right now, actually. They are equaling their best. Maybe they can find a 10 for 2, maybe go a little bit quicker, go down to 42. Oh, no, just lost some time. Yeah, he's just lost a chunk of time. So he's going to restart and try go again. Onto the guys in second. Mohamed Zikri. Now, Team Racing lineup. This is my favorite colored car. He's looking strong at the moment as well. Not really improving, though.
Yeah, Zikri normally is the one that, oh, there we go, he's actually gone off the track, and that's it, that's the end of his qualifying session, so he's gonna have to be forced to start in second place. Okay, so no points offered in qualifying, it's not all gone, but really, okay, 5 points for pole, but really then, he would love to have that 5 points for the pole position to actually challenge the likes of Homa eRacing and JMX Juniors who are leading the championship right now. There is the team that actually won last time out. They are in third place at the moment with Bernie Ronquillo coming to the pits, but I think that's the end of their qualifying session too, Alex.
Yeah, that's right. Anyone else on a good lap? Shapian Said. He's not really improving though. Maybe, but he's quite a bit further back. Not sure he's going to be able to challenge the top 3.
Yeah, 1.5 seconds behind. In fact, the spread in this particular round has been a bit bigger compared to previous rounds. So really then, 1.5 seconds between first and fourth. You can tell it's going to be a bit more of an open race in this one compared to previous races.
That's right. So we've got 2 Porsches. And that's at Homa eRacing. That's it. He's done for the qualifying. There's this one of the Astons. So at the moment, Aston's looking very good because they are 1 and 2 in GT4 qualifying here.
Indeed. And Porsche 3-4. Well, let's not beat around the bush on that. We might still see Porsche actually challenge the Astons in the race, but for now, at least in qualifying, it looks quite daunting. Half a second separating between the first 2 Astons, and the rest almost about 6/10 between Barukilo and the second place Aston. So really then, the guys who are in Porsches have a lot of work to do for the race.
Okay, so 15 minutes to go, 20 seconds to the 15-minute mark. These guys need to pull out of these laps. They're supposed to be off track, and there he is practicing the pit lane entry. Good. That's smart, really, both of them practicing the pit lane entry because they will be doing pit stops in the race. Okay, GT4 qualifying is done. And that's perfect timing. They both got into the pit lane just in time. So let's see what's happening with the GT3 boys now. And there they are. Wow, there they are barreling out of the pit lane as they start their qualifying. And we're following the championship leader, car number 111, Stratos Flash.
And look at that car in second place behind, second in shot, is also the championship contender for JMX Factor. First and second on the road are first and second in the championship.
Absolutely, and there's Laundry House, our reigning champions, in third position as well. Ferrari a popular choice this year after they dominated round 1. Things have been a bit fairer since then. We saw round 2, their Hondas were quicker. But at the moment, the guys in the top 5 in the championship, right there in shot, 1, 2, and 5.
Yeah, this might be, well, the Ferraris might actually fare well around here, but apparently it is actually an Aston and Audi track. So for some reason, Bentley and Audi track for some reason. So I don't know how those cars are good, but it is what it is. We're going to see a lot of shake-ups in the order in terms of who's going to be fastest on the track. But for now, at least, the Ferraris are first, second, and third on the road. Might just be first, and second, and third in qualifying.
That'd be something. But yeah, I got a feeling these guys are also carrying a little bit of success ballast. I'm not really sure they're going to be in the fight for pole position. But you mentioned the Bentleys. Any of these teams looking quick in the Bentley, do you think that can challenge for qualifying?
Z Challenger will be one of them. Now I'm going to include my own team because I don't want to share biasness on broadcast, but the balance.
You can be biased. I mean, just to let everyone know, the Ammo here will be racing for Blue Steel Racing, a very good team here from Malaysia. It'd be nice to see you fight for pole position. Who's driving your team today?
It's Javier, or he actually pronounces it as Javier Lai. He is actually now in that pack, and that's a lot of cars that he's held up. That's not how you want to start qualifying, Javier.
There's your teammate there getting contact. Wow, that's a messy start to qualifying for your teammate.
Wow, that's a real... Well, that's scuffed up. That is his first run, so he might as well need to come back to the pits because that was Leon, I think, in the Waycross car just hitting him. So that's really something that he didn't want to start off qualifying, and he's flashing his lights some more.
Well, Wacko's flip table with that racing there, looking strong. But I don't think Wackos did anything wrong there. I think Javier just too slow into the last corner, and you know Wackos isn't going to wait around.
Yeah.
And so off they went.
And the fact that we also have another special guest in the studio here, but he's actually racing right beside us right now, is Muhammad Afiq Farid.
Yeah.
And where is he on the track right now? I don't see his tracker at the moment.
That is a good question.
Oh, he's actually out up to the second sector. He's leading one of the other Wacos cars. Number 49, there he is.
Okay, well, we'll try and come. I don't really see him on the time screen at the moment. Ah, there he is. Okay, there's
and a nice Rapid KL livery.
Yeah, he's driving.
So he's driving a bus.
He's literally driving a bus. That's the bus system and trains, don't they? Trains
Yes.
here in Malaysia. So, okay, that's my new favorite livery of the day, for sure.
They've run that before, actually. I've seen this livery before in the past when he was running his own league, but now he's actually running it here in the RGP Endurance Edition, which is nice to see. Oh, he's running a bit wide. That's going to invalidate his lap time, and he is unfortunately going to park it up.
Well, just when we come to him, he messes up. Oh dear. Okay, I want to focus a bit on JMX, because JMX are going to be coming out strong, aren't they? There they are in qualifying right now, on a decent lap. Everyone's completed their first laps, as we can see. 34.0, that's not bad, but tire pressure is still coming up to pressure, really. So it's lap 2 and 3 when people really start to go quick.
Actually, we're close to the ballpark in terms of lap time, because 133s are pretty much the standard of the circuit. 32s if you really push it, and if it's on a colder day. But unfortunately, the temperatures right now are quite hot at the moment, so we may not be able to see 32s today, but 33s are definite, because look at how close Alif is, about 500s off from the 33s.
Yeah, and you see Alif there in the green Stratos car. He's actually pulling away. He's quicker right now, and he's getting even faster. Oh, he's just made a mistake. Commentator's curse. Went a bit wide under braking there, and he's lost that time. So he's not actually going to go quicker.
But at least look at that. It's still not blue. If you see blue dots on the screen right there, that means the drivers have invalidated their lap time. So he's still on it. As we see O'Hara with a 0.3 of a second a lap faster time. But did he go wide there? Did he go wide there? I don't think so.
I think he's still okay. Pushing the limits, the Laundry House car. These are last year's champion in car number 1. And it's good to see O'Hara there. I wasn't sure if he was going to be able to get out for this round 3. And this is going to be a stonking lap.
Oh, absolutely.
Goes through across the start-finish line. What's it going to be?
Oh, Reyes improves, but where's O'Hara? A 10th off. Oh, we didn't see that coming. Reyes was only about 0.3 of a second faster compared to O'Hara, but he has snatched the pole position. What a lap from the Filipino.
Wow, that's really surprising, because the first half of this lap, Reyes did not look that good, if you ask me. But the second half of the lap, he just nailed. And now he's improving. He's a 10th up on this previous lap.
Oh, you can see how much they cut the red spots there, the AstroTurf. Well, it's not that much of an AstroTurf. It's more like concrete runoff where you can just cut a lot there. And they eat a lot of those curves for breakfast today. So that's where most of the time is gained on this circuit, because you really need to cut the chicanes here. Coming out now to the second sector. Where will Reyes be standing at the moment? He's not improving, but O'Hara is about a 10th a second, and a 10th is the difference between the two of them right now.
So let's go on board with O'Hara and see how it looks from his point of view. If he can find that 10th, this could be good enough for pole position.
Will be, but in fact, he needs to be about a clear 0.2 of a second at least to be well ahead of Reyes, but it's still the margins are quite fine. And look at that, the car in front, that is Alif. Alif has actually backed it up a bit, so he might just actually hinder Reyes slightly, as now all 3 cars who came out of the pits together at the start of qualifying may just be seeing each other much closely right now.
Yeah, it is. It's looking good though. O'Hara just lost a little bit of time through those sequence of corners now. He's still on for a 33.5, but he needs to get the exit out of here if he's going to improve and try and get a chance of pole position. Goes across the line.
Oh!
He improves ever so slightly.
Just
by 300ths. But still not quick enough.
Yep, because Reyes went much faster. In fact, it's now a 33.3, so Reyes then really looking quite good here to almost collect the 32, but not quite, because the temperatures are still quite hot as we go to the Pro-Am class, and Alexis Clapano, who's actually qualified with the car this time, has put it on pole in Pro-Am. 4 fastest overall. That's a good time from the guys from the Philippines.
Clapano, we know what a good driver he is, and he's in the Pro-Am class. He's partnered with an AM driver, and that's 10-year-old Alan Drake Cruz. But to see a Pro-Am car up there amongst the pro cars, that's pretty impressive. Clapano doing a great job there.
Indeed. And he's doing well here to start the car as high up as possible, so that when he gives it back to Alan can do the business as well on his end. So really, these guys are looking good for yet another Pro-Am win.
Okay, oh, Kai Rudin, GSR eMotorsports just went off. Such a shame, he was on a really good lap there. He would have improved for sure, but that's it. There's another car that was really quick in round 2, actually, in the NSX.
Yeah, in fact, the NSXs with NSXCs or sexes. I don't know how to put a plural on that. But yeah, both NSX cars were actually quite fast in that previous run, including the likes of James Pierre-Reid, who is currently 10th, but the surprise winner from last time. That's their first ever win. They more than tripled their best result previously, which was a 9th.
Yeah, and they're obviously carrying a little bit of success ballast now from that win. They're down there in P10, although this is a better lap from them, 3/10 up.
And you always love to see a lap that's actually in the green and well and truly in the green. Right now, well, he's lost a bit of time on the straight. They're 2/10 now, but still, this is a promising one for Reid because it will put him straight up into 8th place. In fact, speaking of 8th place, JV Lai has actually put the 401 car in 8th place as Pierre-Reid comes to a halt and looks as though he wants to line himself up for another run here, a final push to actually get it up really into that close to the top 5.
There's your teammate Blue Steel Racing. Should call it Black Steel Racing with no livery.
Yeah.
But that's good to see him there to the top 10. But James Pierre-Reid, he was 3/10 up just now. He shouldn't be P10. He needs to get into the top 6 or 7, if you ask me.
Yeah, because we saw how that win was really galvanizing the team. So really, they should carry that form from Kyalami here to Misano, as we see more of the drivers who are actually starting their final push now, including the likes of Harishami in that number 100 GSR car, number 69 for Chris Sung, and I think that was 969. Yep, 969 coming out of the pits. That's Chak Sim Wong.
Yep. So Chris Sung, is this the car that's leading the Pro-Am Championship at the moment?
Number 70, actually.
Number 70, so it's his teammate.
The sister car, yep. 69's in 6th right now, and with a whole host of driver rotations at the moment, but Chris... The Chak-Mi Wong's actually coming to this particular car this time, so...
I don't see car 70
sorry,
out
not Chak-Mi Wong. That was in weight class. That's behind him.
I don't see car 70 out there. That's peculiar.
Me neither. So I think they're going to use this as a drop run because to actually cull the momentum of what they had, because they won in the first race, finished 2nd in the second race. They should really be here right now, but I think they just took the time out to not race this for this particular round.
Okay, let's go back on to Flash Stratos right now. Alif Hamilton there. We call him Hamilton because that's his nickname. There he is going through these corners right now, and he's 2/10 up on his lap before, so maybe he could trouble the front 2 rows.
Yeah, but that may just too much, and they may have invalidated his lap time because that particular stretch of turns on the outside, especially if you actually go really wide, you're gonna get a warning. In fact, 2 if you really actually are not that careful.
Whoa! Just off our screens. GMX Phantom 1-2, but it's not the Ferrari. It's the BMW.
And it's a brand new entry for this one because this car used to be 311. Now it's actually number 13. Lucky number 13 to be exact now, with Dafa Adiansa and Dafa Nabil in that car. Adiansa doing the qualifying 300s up on their sister car in 2nd place.
Yeah, it's technically the same entry. They requested a number change. It's funny they went for what's supposed to be the most unluckiest number at the moment. Typically known for, but it's going quite well for them, isn't it?
Well, we're now in Western countries, so there's that.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, Dafa. Wow, he's a quick driver as well. Good to see him up there.
Look at that. That's the esports line, as we call it in F1 terms, especially in Bahrain, where they go really wide at the 3rd sector to get a really good wide entry into that. So we're seeing it here. So apparently, a Assetto Corsa Competizione doesn't penalize you for that one either. So there's that. Now then, so Adiansa, is he actually on an improvement? No, not this time. Looks as though he might just actually try to find a lap time in the final sector. But a lot of drivers are actually setting really fast times here towards the end of qualifying. And it's almost close to 32, but not quite. We're not going to see 32s in this qualifying session. But look at that. BMW is again out in front after quite a while.
Anyway, so let's see. I wonder if we might see if Kian Butler's on board, see if he's in the commentary booth, see if he's ready to join us. We'll actually have another commentator joining us later on. Kian, are you there?
I am. How are you today?
Yes, good to hear you, mate. Some exciting action. You're commentating all the way from Perth, aren't you?
Yes, all the way from Perth. It's a kind of stormy day outside, but it's nice and calm inside. So I got a nice cup of tea and a nice bit of action in front of me to look forward to, and some good company.
And just focusing on Ali Karudin again from GSR. You know, he's a Malaysian, but he's based in Perth as well.
Damn. That's maybe I got to invite him out to watch the F1 sometime.
Yeah, when he go to the Crown or something.
Yeah, you never know.
For sure,
Anyway,
yes.
Ali Karudin goes across the line. Ooh, doesn't. Yes, he goes a little bit quicker, and he improves up to P6.
He's got traffic right in front in the form of a Waycross BMW 999. That's Leon. That is not what he wanted to start his second lap. So really, then he's gonna have to put this into the bin and focus on the next lap.
Yeah,
He's got plenty of time to do just one more, but that's the do or die lap that he did not want to do. There's Ali on inset right now.
So what does he do now? Does he just kind of relax, try and look after the tires for the next lap?
I think he should be doing that, but he's not doing that at the moment. Now he is. You can see clearly, visually, that he's backing off at the moment.
Okay. Just want to quickly talk about GSR. Kairudin's teammate is Fahad Ghafour, and I have to give a big shout out to this team because they have been doing our website and our Discord channel for eRacing GP, and I have to say they've been doing an amazing job for us. So a big shout out to them for helping us. And that's what we do at eRacing GP. A lot of volunteers helping out to try and make this as good event as possible.
Big ups to Fahad and that one, but we had to cast your mind back to what happened in Kyalami. They were leading that. They were the class of the field, could have won, but unfortunately, an ill-advised move from Andika Ramamalana just pitched that Honda into the barriers and unfortunately scuffed the entire race.
Yes, that was. I think Malana from Legion Races did get a drive-through penalty for that, but that was it. This race was over. They did get pole position though, although they didn't get the results that they wanted.
Could have been a win. Could have been a win for them because it was the other Honda that actually picked up the pieces from that one, and it was James Pierre-Reid in number 15. So really then, you might not to say they have a chip on the shoulder in this one, but they got some vendetta to actually get onto because they really want to get a win in this championship right now.
Okay, got to go back to the front though because Dafa, he's slowed down. He's made a mistake. He's not going to do it. So that's it. Qualifying done for him, and you can see Alif in the background also done in the green Stratos car. But Russell Reyes, he's not done. He's on his final lap, and he's a 10th up. So if he can carry this to the line, this would be good enough for pole.
Indeed, and the fact that the only other car in front of him is actually another fellow fast car, so he doesn't have anyone to distract him front or behind. This is a do or die lap. Can the Filipino pull something out of the bag here on this final lap?
Runs a bit wide there, doesn't he? On the entry into that corner. He's lost a 10th. But there's still enough of a lap to try and find something from this.
And O'Hara is also on a flyer as well. In fact, he's a 10th up coming. Oh no! Russell's actually pulled it off to the side of the track. So he is out of qualifying on this one, and he will start in second, just 300s behind his sister car. So JMX Phantom 1-2, unless of course Andrew O'Hara might just want to spoil the party. The defending champions here looking for their first pole of the season.
And O'Hara's done this before. We've seen it from last year where they can pull something out in qualifying, especially they're so strong in qualifying. Couple corners to go, a 10th up. What do you think?
Or tell you what, that 10th up may just be just a fraction of a 10th up, so it may not be enough for pole. If he gets into 0.2 of a second, then we'll be talking business here as he goes a bit wide coming out to the final sector. That wide area, actually, you can use it a bit to actually get a wider entry, so that may just be a tactic. But if you go too wide, you're going to actually invalidate lifetime. But it looks as though O'Hara's still on it, and he comes out of the final corner now. Will this be pole position? He's 2/10 up. He's coming across the line now. Will this be pole position for O'Hara? Yes, it is! By 0.04 of a second! What an absolutely stonking final sector from the Australian to pull that out of the bag, Alex.
Wow, what a great job. We have to go look at the results right there. He doesn't actually have a purple sector, but he put it together when it mattered most. And you can see all the success balances that they're running on the far right. But what a great pole position by the reigning champions. JMX Phantom in P2 and P3. Wow, with so many purple sectors between those two drivers, you got to feel that they felt that they could have gone for pole position there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we're going to go for a quick, small little break right now, and we'll be back for the start of this race. Wow, okay, so that was really exciting stuff. Laundry House on pole for the Pro class. Alan Racing on pole for Pro-Am. And in the Am class, we had the Aston Martins 1 and 2. Let's go through that entry list now before we see the start of the race. Okay, so our champions from last year, cars number 1 and 2 from Australia, Laundry House. You can see them at the very top. The numbers with the white background, that's the Pro class. The numbers with the black background, that's Pro-Am. And the numbers with the red background, that's Am. Hope you that's all to see. Other cars will be quick there. Number 10, of course, JMX Phantom up there in the Ferrari. They'll be strong. The guys, it's not there. Car number 13, another JMX Phantom car will be there as well. They will be super strong and ones to look out for. And of course, Legion of Racers had a very quiet qualifying. Not sure they're there this weekend in car 44. Now onto the second side, you can see a trio of cars from Z Challenger Racing from Hong Kong. Car number 17 is our championship leader in Pro-Am, but I don't think they're going to be there. But their second car, car number 69, they'll be fighting Allen Racing for that Pro-Am class for sure. And then, of course, car 111, Muhammad Alif and Muhammad Tasbi, the brother duo from Singapore, they are leading the Pro Championship right now, and I think they qualified 5th for this championship right now, for this race at the moment. They are up there as well. And then onto the last page, and you can see some of the other guys there. Wacko's Flip Table Racing there, 2 entries at the very bottom. And of course, Hold My Beer Racing, car number 777 from Singapore. They are currently leading the championship, although they did not have a great qualifying. Well, P3 in qualifying, not so bad, but not so great either. Blue Steel Racing there, car 401. And of course some of the others there are drivers we have there. Okay, let's go for the grid walkabout now. We come down to the full screen, and you can see the cars all lined up right now, and you can see that they are getting ready for their race. Take us through. Laundry House there on the left. On the right, JMX Phantom, their car number 13 in the BMW. Then fellow JMX Phantom driver, team, shall we say, car 10, but in the Ferrari. And then there's our championship leaders, car 111 from Flash Stratos.
Yeah.
And then the Pro-Am went drivers. Wow, great lap by Clapana to put it there in P5. And then another Pro-Am car, car 69 from Z Challenger on the right. And then we have GSR there on the left, followed by another Z Challenger car, car 71 on the right there as well. There we go, 401, Blue Steel Racing. My commentator there is super happy with that result. And you can see some of the other cars as we come down further into the field.
And it's a bumper field as well, actually, about 26 cars to be exact. So a good grade of cars here for what should be a really exciting race, because this track really provides a lot of action.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple teams had issues getting the server, so I'm not sure if they're able to join us for the race start. We shall see. Car 49 on the right, that's my favorite livery car, Rapid KL. Love that livery. Then they get to the AM classes, Racing Line on the left, Hold My Beer there, car on the right, and we come to the back of the field. And a Pro class just managed to join us there right now. Okay.
20 seconds.
All right. So, Ammo, what do you think is going to happen right now? I think drivers have to be watch out, don't they? Because the track is very wary. You have to watch out for... You have these long corners that just kind of invite people to come in, and have these sort of accidents.
And also the fact that the first turn, that chicane, we all saw before last year what happened in Monza, right? The drivers actually caused quite a kerfuffle because so many cars are coming in trying to actually get to the same piece of real estate together. So with lesser cars compared to last time, we might just be able to get it clean, but I'm not counting my chickens on that one. Drivers have to take it carefully here, because remember in MotoGP, the first time they came here in 2007, there was a big pile-up. So let's hope that doesn't happen here.
Yep, okay, so the drivers are on track right now, and you can see them coming out and getting ready for their formation lap.
Yep, and on board with O'Hara. You can hear the squealing of the brakes there, because he is trying to get those brakes warmed up as soon as possible to prevent any sort of coldness on the brakes to actually prevent the braking to be good. As we're going to get Josh Bowen, a champion of the McLaren Shadow tournament. He's actually coming in right now. First time ever we're going to have an esports champion here, aside from some of us who are also esports champions. Josh, welcome to the commentary box.
Hello, great to be here, Ammo. Looking forward to this race. It should be a good one, and qualifying, as you saw, was very, very close. 3 cars within 1/10, so it'll be very interesting to see what happens here at the start.
And we're talking about championship right now because we're already halfway point of the season, 3 out of 6 rounds in. We got 2 pairs of cars at the back there who are teammates. Are they going to try to actually stall the guy in front in Laundry House to actually help one of those cars? Because number 10 is fighting for the championship.
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see what happens. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I guess we'll find out as soon as the green light waves. But they'll definitely want to maybe try and get ahead of the laundry house car, maybe sandwich it a little bit, hopefully. But we'll have to see what happens.
And we're hopefully that the car in front will actually not scamper away and create a bit of a bore fest. We want it to be as close as possible. And with the success balances that we have on these cars, I think it is possible. But we'll have to wait and see. Right now, as you can see there, all 26 cars on the circuit still warming out their tires. We're coming out to the second sector, and crucially though, sorry, we got something over here. Oh yes, by the way, we've got to actually introduce one more commentator. Kian Butler will be joining us in the commentary box. Kian, can you hear us?
I can. Hello again. Hello again.
Yes, sorry for stumbling over the words there, because we got 3 commentators in the box, 2 in real life, 1 over in Perth, Australia, but we got 2 Perth guys here, and they will definitely be bantering all the way. So, Kian, what are you looking forward to for this one?
It's going to be a great race. We have some cars with some great success ballast. That top 4 looks really competitive between Stratus Flash. You have the 2 JMX cars that were fighting way for pole, and then you have Laundry House with O'Hara. We've seen all these guys go at it before in the ERGP Endurance Edition, specifically last season a couple of times. Had a couple coming together. Russell Reyes on some of the LOR cars. You had O'Hara and Bakita that did go around. But as we enter the final corner now, the Misano corner for the Misano track, we come around the final corner to start this one up. We're waiting for these guys to get underway here in the Seseta Corsa competition. Around 4 hours ahead of us here at Misano. We're getting ready. It's about to go any second now.
And we are underway. Oh, it's a slow start. Slow start for O'Hara. He's actually got swamped there, so I'm not sure how he actually bogged the start, but he really flopped his lines. As now into the lead goes Dafa Adianza with Ali following closely in second. But the big loser out of all that is actually Russell Reyes. He's actually dropped behind one of the GSR Hondas, but it's a good start for Dafa Adianza. That was the sort of jump that he wanted. And oh, a bit of a hit there between the Ferraris, between the JMX Phantom car and the Laundry House car. But overall, I think it was a clean start. No one got involved in any major accidents, guys.
Yeah. Oh, and there's just to say that for the Axel Academy team out back, that looks like Bernard Chan going around in McLaren.
Yep, he has actually lost it all himself. I think, Josh, what did you see there just now?
It was quite an interesting start because it looks like the Laundry House car was way ahead of the JMX car, but then as soon as the green light went, it just didn't go. So maybe a couple of issues at the start there. It was quite interesting to see what happened. But yeah, definitely the JMX car and the Laundry House car are now going to have a lot of work to do for the rest of the race.
Oh, for sure then, and the fact that that just opens up a whole can of worms for the rest of the field, the challenge. And look at that, up in 3rd place is Chris Sung in a Pro-Am Bentley for Z Challenger Racing. He is attacking Alif. Alif may have been spooked there slightly because he had to take onto the grass for a second to actually overtake a slow starting Laundry House car, but it looks as though his car is not really that affected. But what's for sure, the cars behind are licking their lips right now because they have an opportunity here to get an overall podium, guys.
Yeah, I'd say that definitely.
Go ahead.
Already, just wanted to point out a 1.5 second gap between Alif and the JMX Phantom car up ahead. So that is a really good start, a really strong start there for the BMW of Dafa Adianasa. And Alif is going to have to try and close that gap now a little bit. But yeah, really strong start there for Chris Sang in the 69 Pro-Am car. He's got Galpano a couple of tenths behind. But how's that battling going to affect those slow starters of Reyes and O'Hara trying to work their way back up the field?
Yeah, you're right, especially the fact that he is behind some really fast cars as well, so O'Hara's got a lot of work to do here, especially with the pit stops coming out soon. He might just want to be able to do maybe an overcut here because the tire degradation may not be so bad on a circuit that actually is full of straights, but not many lateral corners that will actually hurt the tire grip, don't you think?
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see. And of course, one thing to note as well, like you said, we've got Pro-Am drivers in 3rd and 4th right now. So technically, O'Hara is 4th in this race in terms of getting points. But he'll have to make his way through those Pro-Am cars and he'll want to get past them as quickly as possible to try and catch back up to Alif and Adianza. And Adianza, as Kian said, is pulling away 1.8 seconds now. So maybe Alif got some damage, maybe potentially at that start when he had to take avoiding action to the grass. But we'll have to see. But yeah, definitely a dream start for the JMX BMW.
Absolutely. It's like his Easter, Christmas, and New Year came in all one go as O'Hara then makes a good move on the inside of Ao Yong. So there we go. That's up to 5th place. That's one car that he has taken out of the equation. 5th place overall, but 3rd in class, so he's back onto the podium. No points lost there. And look at that. Alif is actually not that far away from him, so all's not lost yet. We're only 4 minutes into the race here, so really then O'Hara, he's starting to do the work here.
Yeah, and I have to say, it does look like Alif has been compromised a little bit by that start. Like Josh was saying, the JMX Phantom car up ahead now pulling out the fastest lap. Alif has no answer. Those 2 Pro-Am cars are still hot on his tail. I almost want to say that they might get involved with Alif a little bit here if they find that they're, just that little bit quicker. I'd be surprised to see the Stratus car trying not to fall back through the field because they did have such good pace in qualifying.
And by the way, before we go back into the action, we have to thank our sponsors, X-Pac, Axel, Royal Slango, who make the trophies at the end of the season, Motorsport Playground, who will do the wraps of the cars that will be sent to the champions at the end of the season, and of course, Life Apparel, the guys who make these shirts. We have to thank all those sponsors here for today, who without them, it would not be possible. Now then, so back to the action here, and Kian, as you rightfully pointed out, it looks as though Alif cannot actually shake off the cars in 3rd and the rest. So really then, as Josh pointed out as well, going onto the grass actually has affected his tires slightly.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting to come back into their element a little bit more now, though, as Alif is holding that gap a little bit more constant now. Around 1.8 seconds stays the gap to that number 13 BMW up front. But just behind, he's got the Bentley, he's got the Lamborghini, and he's got the Ferrari. The Ferrari, of course, being the one that he has to keep an eye out from Laundry House. But Sang and Clapano, those two could start scrapping away at any moment, and that has to be what Alif is hoping for here. And then maybe, just maybe, that will hold up the Laundry House car a little bit.
Indeed, in fact, that it is between the leaders of the Pro-Am class as well. So 25 points up for grabs in that one, plus the fact that Clapano has it here from pole position. So Chris Sang, if he wants to help out the number 70 car, which is not here in the championship, to actually at least help the sister team's car's cause, don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, and if I'm just having a look now as well, it looks like Russell Reyes is right on the back of the Honda as well. Looks like a very close battle there, so it'll be interesting to see. Yeah, the one other interesting thing from that start as well, we saw that Andrea O'Hara got, looks like he made contact with another car, not at the start as well, but also a couple of corners later. So he might also have some damage which he's nursing as well, which is maybe hindering his ability to catch up potentially. But yeah, Russell Reyes looks very, very close right now to overtaking the car in P7.
Indeed, and the other car that he collided was actually Russell Reyes in the number 10 Ferrari for JMX Phantom. You saw that in that second phase of the start, in the first double right-handed corner, they actually touched, and that may affect Russell's front end a bit. As you can see there, he's not making any ground right now. He's still stuck in 8th place, only just in front of the blue steel car with Javier Lai. So really then, he's gonna have to bet on the pit stops to actually have his cause, or he could hope that the cars in front will hit each other.
Yeah, it looks like the car's a little bit tail happy there. You saw him sliding through that corner as well. But yeah, he'll definitely want to maybe try and get past everyone as quick as possible so that he can catch up. But Andrea O'Hara has just set the fastest lap of the race now, and he's only 7 tenths behind Clapano, who's only 3 tenths behind Sung actually. If we go back here, so there might potentially be some overtaking, some action coming on soon.
Oh really, that's the action we want to see, because not only is it a battle for the podium in the Pro-Am class, it's a battle for the podium overall, and it's a battle for the podium in the Pro class. So 3 different sub-storylines here, culminating to one big movie to see, and hopefully it's clean, because we do not want to see the big guys get taken out like what happened last time in South Africa. Isn't that right, Kian?
Yeah, it's a crossover event of a century here. Thankfully, we haven't had to, come up with any movie budget deals to get this one on board. We just had the action roll out in front of us as Russell Reyes looks down the inside of that NSX now, and it's a good move there for the JMX Phantom Ferrari, who moves up into 7th place now. He's got Carradine ahead of him now, and you have to think that that NSX is not going to fight back too much, because Reyes, obviously, with that great qualifying form, has been the faster car. Maybe Lai here, or not Lai, sorry. Who was that? That was Carradine. So he's chasing Young now. Yeah, maybe Carradine can use Reyes here to close up to Young and try and force an overtaking opportunity.
Getting a draft as well, actually, that's important. And the way that Reyes did an overtake is almost like Valentino Rossi in his prime into turn number 8. That's a very, very huge overtaking spot, a favorite overtaking spot for MotoGP riders, and Reyes made that through. And Carradine, on his part, remember the last time that he had a Ferrari right behind, it was a big accident, so I think he was thinking of the caution on the side of Valor to just let the Ferrari through and just continue his own race.
Yeah, but it was a good move there from Russell Reyes. That Z Challenger BMW up ahead now. That M4 has seemed to be a pretty fast... Well, I say it seemed to be a pretty fast car. It, of course, had the other JMX Phantom car line up in P2 and it's currently leading the race. So we drop back down now to Joshua Nabas for the M category Veloce Ragazzo in that Aston Martin. This AM category, there seems to be a bit of space in between them. How do you think that one's going to play out, Emma?
Yeah, I think it's going to be like this, what you tell me, because there's only 4 of them anyway. So if anything were to happen between these guys, it's going to happen because of GT3 cars bogging them up. So really then, we did see just now in qualifying, it was quite spaced out. So it proves as though it's the same case in the race. And about, what, 10 seconds separating between the top 4 in these guys, so it's going to be a close battle among themselves, but unfortunately for certain drivers like Zikri here, it's going to be no man's land.
One thing that might make it quite interesting though is also when the GT3s catch up, because they'll have to try and not lose as much time as possible when they're getting overtaken. So it'll be quite interesting. That might even close up the field a little bit more, make it a little bit more interesting. So we'll have to wait and see. Just going back up to the front now, it looks like Andrew O'Hara is still right behind Klapano right here. But Kyrudin is actually quite close here, or he was in the telemetry anyway. It looks like the BMW behind he's actually overtaken the BMW. So now he's up into 7th and Reyes is into 6th, so possibly a mistake for the BMW driver.
Yeah, unfortunately we missed that one, but Ao Young has actually lost 2 positions in the space of 2 laps here to really fast charging cars. The BMW of, the Honda of Ali Kyrudin and the Ferrari of Russell Reyes have overtaken him now. He's got a Bentley right behind, so these 2 cars are about like for like the big boys. Not as big as the big BMW M8, the mates, but still, it's going to be quite difficult to see how the Bentley's going to overtake it, because the JVLI in that Bentley is running the heaviest of the ballast among all the cars, because apparently, according to CDA, that's the fastest car in the circuit. So, where do you think that JV is going to try to overtake him here?
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting to see when he makes that move. Another move that looks like it's close to be making is O'Hara, as he's getting closer and closer to Klapano. The other thing as well I've been looking at is the gap between Adianza and Alif, which has slowly been creeping out, but not as much as it was in the first lap. So I think it was 1.5, 1.6 after lap 1. Since then, it's kind of hovered late, high 1 second, early 2 second. So yeah, Adianza isn't really pulling away, so we might be able to see a battle for the lead coming up soon as well, potentially.
Fluctuating, you might say, because it's still within that safe zone where you can still catch the guy, but he's not that far away. The guy is also himself not really that far away, so it's not that uncomfortable, to say the least.
Yeah, it's enough to keep Adianza on his toes, at least putting on the pressure, so puts more pressure on Adianza, potentially might make a mistake as well. So definitely making the battle for the lead interesting, that's for sure, as it looks like O'Hara is getting closer and closer. He's just not getting close enough to make that dive bomb, make that overtake, so we'll have to wait and see when that happens. Of course, he's probably carrying a little bit of damage after that start. And it looks like, as you said, your teammate Javier is actually getting right up to the back of the BMW as well right now. So there might be another overtake going on here. Maybe the BMW driver's picked up a bit of damage, because he was running comfortably in 6th just before he lost those 2 positions.
Yeah, we're just only on pure speculation right now what happened to that particular car, but it looks as though How Long Ao Young is actually struggling, and he's actually defending here from JVLI. Can JVL find a way through at the famous turn 8 where MotoGP bikes overtake? He goes around the outside, tries to go for a switchback, but unfortunately no way through just yet. Ao Young is actually holding on to it, but is struggling on the exit. He just can't get away through right now. I mean, he just can't shake him off at the moment. The BMW is really struggling at the moment, guys.
Around the outside, the 401 still tries to make it work. The Blue Steel Racing, we see the onboard of the driver. They're just chomping away at the wheel there. A little bit of an adjustment to try and make that move stick next time around. But Javier Lai, he's right on the tail of that BMW, who is going defensive. It's a bit of a tricky one here, because it's what? We got 3 hours and 45 minutes left in this race. So do you think that in this situation, as we watch Javier Lai still trying to make the move around the outside, potentially for the switchback here, a little bit of a lag contact there potentially, as they come through the left-hander there to get ready to finish off the lap here on this last corner. 3 hours and 47 minutes remaining. don't want to get too punchy at this part of the race, but you also don't want to get held up and then have to work up too much of a deficit later on.
Absolutely, and the fact that for Josh, for example, he knows how that would be like in Virtual Le Mans, where you need to go through the GT traffic. You almost have to find a way in almost to the grass to overtake the cars, don't you think, Josh?
Yeah, it'll be quite interesting. It looks like Javier is quite desperate to get ahead. He does look like he's the faster of the two at the moment. So it looks like he tried making the overtake move last time. Oh, as he gets a bit tail happy there. But yeah, he just needs to get close enough to make that dive bomb, and hopefully it sticks.
Yeah, in fact, he will try to put it at turn 8 again, but all the while then this battling between himself and the number 71 Z Challenger car is costing both of them a lot of time.
Exactly, yes, you're right. And that is allowing the car in P10, the Honda, to catch up as well. So all this all this battling, as you said, it's just allowing everyone to catch up to them. And it's not...
Oh, he's trying one. Oh, there's a hit. And Javier stopped in his tracks there. And unfortunately, he has to give that way back. Otherwise, the penalty would have been dished out anyway. But that was unfortunate that the car behind, the car in front was trying to cut across him. And Ao Young has unfortunately invited the spin. And now Javier's overtaken. But that cost him in total about 5 positions.
Yeah, of course, that contact, now they're down all the way down the order now, so, but they've got 3 hours, 45 minutes to make it up, so they'll definitely want to keep on pushing, but hopefully they haven't picked up too much damage from that incident though, Emma.
Yeah, indeed, and I didn't see how Javier reacted to that one, but I hope he won't be too disappointed with himself because he was running so well up to that point until that contact happened. As meanwhile, back up in front, Dafa Arianza for the JMX Phantom number 13, lucky number 13 at the moment, 2.5 seconds ahead of AR Muhammad Alif and about 5 seconds ahead of Chris Sung. So top 3 overall, and if you include the classes, about 5 seconds off. So it's not really that spread out yet. But Dafa Arianza then coming into traffic, and that's where the gap might close up a bit. Look at that, 1.9 seconds. It was 2.5. So really then, the traffic may be the differentiator here in this one, Josh.
Yeah, and it does look like the GT4s have closed up together a lot, because I remember last time we checked up on them, there was huge gaps between all of them, and those two look very close together, so that's something to look out for later, as the GT3s try desperately to get their way past as fast as possible here. But yeah, the other thing as well, it looks like Sung has kind of caught up to or it looks like going through traffic, so all these GT3s are going to be trying to get through as fast as possible.
But the problem is the GT4 cars, when they're at full pelt, can still be quite a handful. Look at that, we can see further in the background, Russell Reyes just about got into the inside of the Homa eRacing Porsche. So yeah, that's going to be quite a trouble. There he is, and there's the Porsche going off further in the background.
Yeah, it looks like there's actually a battle between two GT4s right now. We'll see as Kairuda navigates through them.
Third and fourth in that class. In fact, that was Sopian Syed actually overtaking Bernie Ronquillo. So Ronquillo then has lost a position and off the podium in GT4. So that was a good opportunistic move among the Porsches. And the battle is still on here between third place in the GT4 AM class. Where's Ronquillo gonna go? Slides across into the first turn. Can he make the move stick? Or the side by side. Sopian is actually around the outside, that which turns onto the inside and still holds on to third place. So regardless of which class you are, each battle in each class is every bit as intense.
Yeah, it's a battle for the podium, of course, and every point counts, as Hold Might Be Racing one last round as well, as you said. So, yeah, they're still going at it, it looks like, as the GT3s to try and navigate their way around. And this is the interesting part as well, because the GT3s want to get around them as fast as possible, but they might have 2 cars wide, and some corners, you know, there's only room for 2 cars, so they've got to wait behind. As it looks like, he might be making another move here, as it looks like the car ahead just goes a little bit wide. Yeah, they're still side by side, they're still going out of ammo.
Oof, I tell you what, this is going to be a bit dodgy here because there's Javier Lai going to the inside. He's coming to the very same corner the previous lap that caused an accident, and the Porsche tries to actually get as close as possible to him because he wants to get out of that corner quickly to prevent the guy behind from overtaking, but nearly caused an accident with the GT3 car. So that's the beauty of multi-class racing. You're gonna know when to hold your line and when, well, I'm gonna use a bit of a poker reference, hold and fold.
As we're just going back up to leaders here, just because it looks like there's a close battle brewing here before 3rd, 4th and 5th, and which also includes as the leader for the Pro-Am class. So they're getting, I think the GT4s have kind of bunched these guys up a little bit, and we'll see if there's any overtakes that happen here. Ooh, and that is a tough place to overtake. Ooh.
And that has actually set himself badly here for the car behind to overtake. Kian, where do you think this is going to go?
Yeah, going through that very anti-Deparco, that was a quite a rough opportunity there for Clepano, who has opened up a gap between himself and Sang now. Do that GT4, and that's also I've been keeping an eye on this timing screen here. Russell Reyes is closed right back up on O'Hara. These guys both qualified in that top 4, so these guys have both made their recovery drives, and now O'Hara, who has been struggling to find his way past these Pro-Am cars, the 69 and the 31. He's going to try and make something happen, because otherwise Reyes is going to come right past and he's going to find his way past, and then O'Hara is still going to be the sitting duck. There's a lot to play here. This will set you up for the rest of this race, and we don't really know which way it's going to go just yet.
Absolutely, and second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth there, all in one shot. The leader has actually scampered away 3.3 seconds, so Dafe Adianza has got the rubber to green in somewhat, because he has actually, well, rubber to blue because blue flags, you know, rubber to blue in terms of blue flags. He has actually gotten away from Alif, 3.3 seconds ahead now, and looks as though coming into the end of the first stint, he is looking very good here, guys.
Yeah, it's a really good, strong start for that BMW. 3.3 seconds is the gap. And Sang is only 8/10 behind Alif still, so Alif still hasn't managed to pull away from those Pro-Ams, and he's maybe potentially acting as a cork in a bottle here, as O'Hara is still down that straightaway. The Ferrari, the number 1 Ferrari, your previous champions, coming through the right-hander, the left-hander of that first chicane, that Fanatec Lamborghini up ahead. There we go, of Sang there. He's going to be trying to go a bit defensive, as they are still bumper to bumper through the double right-hander we go. All it takes is for that Lamborghini to get a little bit out of sense, out of shape through that run, out of the corner, but he has once again held his line. These Pro-Ams are driving very strongly today, and it has to be a thorn on the side for what is the car with the fastest lap of the race so far.
Indeed. For O'Hara, he's still trying to get by as JVLI goes completely wide there. He is a bit on edge after that collision. But making up time out back to the car in 9th place, which is Chat Ming Wong, who himself was actually behind a couple of back markers, battling with the previous race winners, Art Vanderlei and James Pierre-Reid in the number 15 Celsius Autosport car. And look at that. This is going to be a three-way battle between these guys, don't you think?
Yeah, it looks quite close between these guys.
It's worthwhile pointing out there that Javier Lai, obviously in that Blue Steel racing car, he has had that little bit of an incident, so he maybe has a bit more pace in pocket than these guys who haven't had that kerfuffle tumbling down the order yet. But we have seen him to be quite a punchy driver so far, and you have to wonder, is he going to try and maintain that form of attacking strong, or is he going to maybe be a bit more conservative now and try and just work his way back up?
I think he will try to be a bit more conservative this time, and he thought he had the line there to overtake Ao Yong, but it just closed up on him, so I guess he'll have an argument for that in the steward's room, but that'll be for much later. It's not for us, it's not for none of our concern at the moment, because the stewards will be doing their jobs. But back up here to the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th, because Alif also is just up there for 2nd, so battle for 2nd, you might say, guys, because look at that, 2nd to 6th, all within earshot.
Yeah, it looks quite close here as we're on board now with Andrew O'Hara from Laundry House. They've kind of just had a bit of procession, the three of them, throughout this whole race. They haven't really been able to make the overtaking moves, and now, as Kian said before, it's allowed Russell Reyes to catch up as well after the incident that happened at the start. So I think both O'Hara and Reyes would have rather been fighting for 1st and 2nd than 5th and 6th, but yeah, it's definitely a close one here. As you can also see as well on the onboard, Alif just ahead as well. So Alif hasn't been able to pull away that much as well. The only driver who has pulled away is Adianza, so 3.4 seconds now. And we're only 22 minutes into this race. There's been so much action already.
Yeah.
Only been 22 minutes, so it's a good gap so far for Adianza, and he's still got another hour and 40 minutes before he gives the car to his teammate as well. So yeah, plenty of potential for him to pull out that gap as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right to point that out, because it looks as though we had action worth about 2 hours, but it's only been about 22 minutes. So really then, there's a lot to dissect and discuss in, post after this, but for now at least, the battle is still heating up in front. 3.4 seconds between 1st and 2nd, but we're not looking at that right now. It's 2/10 between 4th and 5th. Alexis Clepano right in front of Andrew O'Hara, who himself is just about 4/10 behind Chris Sung in front. So 3rd, 4th, and 5th, while they may be battling for the positions overall, it is between Pro-Am class 1st and 2nd, and the guy who's running 3rd in Pro as well. So really then, how is this going to go, guys? but especially Kian, how is this going to go? You do not want to upset the class battlers, but at the same time, you do not want to compromise your own race.
Yeah, it's interesting. Normally, you know, you're battling against another driver in your class. You come across another class. You normally have the luxury of blue flags. These guys are on track for position. There is no such courtesy, no such pleasure extended here to these two cars. Andrew O'Hara in that laundry house and Russell Reyes are going to both have to try and find their way past these Pro-Am cars up ahead. And O'Hara has to be trying to get a little bit more punchy, in my opinion. You saw on that onboard moments ago just how strong that car is under braking. He closed right up to the tail of that Lamborghini, so there is the opportunity for a bit of an opportunistic lunge at some point, at one point or another, as we come through the right-hander there. This track does seem to almost, you know, it does present overtaking opportunities, but you have to set it up 3 or 4 corners beforehand, and it just doesn't seem like either of these pro drivers right now have that form to set that up yet.
You agree with that?
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah. None of them have really been able to make an overtake on each other now. So, yeah, we're just on board with a Leaf now. So 3.2 seconds is the gap now with Ardianza. But he does look like he's been able to pull away from the battle pack behind him, so that will be good for him. He'll give him a bit of breathing room, and he'll be able to focus more on attacking rather than defending from people behind.
Yeah, especially the fact that you can see Alif here, pretty much in no man's land. I think all racing drivers would like to have that. They're not being attacked, but they are still not that far away from the guy in front. So he's in a comfortable Goldilocks zone, we can safely say. He still has his race to actually win, so there's that.
And he's got company in his room.
Yeah. Oh, that was nearly a hit there. Reyes actually nearly getting to the back of O'Hara again, guys. That was as close as you want to have an absolute snafu.
Yeah, it looks like it's a 4-way battle now. They're all so tied together. We just need to wait to see when someone makes the dive bomb, and that's when it'll get very spicy between all of them. Because if let's say Clapano dive bomb Sang, that brings O'Hara and Reyes into the battle as well, because they're going to lose time battling. And this might be it here, actually, as we see Clapano just behind. Is he going to make the dive bomb?
Oh.
No, he's not. However, Sung does go defensive here, and he goes a little bit wide to see. Oh, he sticks his nose up the inside. This is the action we want to see here. They're side by side, heading into the last bit of the track here, and O'Hara just behind, just waiting for that opportunity to make a move, and he is going to go down the inside, heading into the last turn here, and the JMX car also tries to squeeze through. And that has not worked out for Clapano. He was going to go for the overtake. He ends up losing 2 spots.
Dear, oh dear, he was hedging his bets there, thinking he could make a maneuver stick, but unfortunately, he's lost it big time like Luna Coin. So really then, Alexis sorry to put a Bitcoin reference there. Oh, Reyes goes sliding around the outside, nearly gets it completely crossed up, but Clapano then is the one that ultimately lost out everything. He's lost 2 positions, and for Reyes and O'Hara, their recovery drive continues.
And that's the insight then as to why Clapano didn't want to get punchy with Sang up ahead, because, like Josh was saying, they were so close together. The moment that he tried to make that move happen, it just compromised his run and his ability to defend against those cars behind. But now he's got to hope that, you know, O'Hara and Reyes coming through, trying to get Sang, that will cause a similar thing. As Andrew O'Hara pulls out from the slipstream of that Bentley, is he going to try and make something happen? Up the inside, what a lunge there from O'Hara on the Bentley. Through the inside, is Clapano or Sang going to try and fight that one back? Doesn't look quite like it. So Andrew O'Hara in that laundry house, in at number 1, manages to make his way past the Bentley with minimum collateral, has to be said for Sang. He hasn't lost very much time, and that will be a thorn in the side of Clapano as he tries to stay on the tail of Reyes to catch back up to his main competitor in that Pro-Am category.
And did you see the way that Sang just opened up the door for O'Hara to go through? Josh, I think you might have one to comment on that one.
Yeah, it looks like it was a massive lunge from O'Hara, but he had a lot of space there, so it was quite interesting. Like, it looked almost as if Sung was maybe made a mistake, maybe got a bit of oversteer or something like that. But the big winner out of that entire battling is Alif, 4.3 seconds. Now gap to 3rd, so he's got all that breathing room, and he's catching up to Ardianza now, 2.9.
Whoa, 5/10s, where did that come from? In fact, we look at the lap last time out, 35.1 for Daf Ardianza, 34.8 for Alif, so he is within that ballpark. In fact, he's one of the first among the drivers currently in this current stint to be in the 34, so the rest of the drivers, as the tires are beginning to wear, are in 35, so Alif somehow has found pace at this point in the race.
Yeah, it might be the tyres potentially off the BMW going off before the Ferraris, so we might see a little bit of a difference here. We might see a leaf catching up in the second half of the stint, because we're only almost halfway through the stint. Still got another half of the stint to go before they put on new tyres and go again. So yeah, now that battle over there for second, third, fourth, fifth is dying down. We're going to go have a look through the field here, see who else is close to each other on track, as it looks like there is a bit of a battle here for 11th, 12th and 13th. Let's go check on our GT4s. Let's see how they're doing. Looks like they have spaced out a little bit, but that battle for third and fourth in GT class still looks like it's going on. The gap is only 4/10, so it is quite close between these guys. But yeah, it looks like the leading GT of Joshua Nabus is pulled a 5.9 second gap already.
Yep, 5.9 seconds, and we did see, we're going to point that out after this, but Joshua Nabus, 5 seconds, and the fact that we saw this field spread out in qualifying anyway, so it's kind of like no surprises that in GT4 it's been spread out. There we go, there's Nabus with a sensor in the background. I think he's trying to use his zoom to focus on him, but unfortunately it looks a bit dodgy there, don't you think, guys?
Well, yeah, looks like Ammo might be staying in the commentary box for a bit longer. His car's disqualified.
Oh, the pain. Oh, the pain. I didn't even get to drive in this one, and it looked good because apparently I'm reading through team transcripts right now. JV got spun out. He tried to recover, but he actually got disqualified. And do you know why? It was at turn 14. If you actually cut across that, you get disqualified immediately.
Oh, that is so unfortunate then. So, yeah, unfortunate for the Blue Steel racing car. Ammo doesn't even get to drive. He just gets to spectate the race.
Yes.
But yeah, let's go.
Well, I did get to spend more time with you guys, so I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's the main thing. Hey. So just having a look through here, looks like the field is a little bit spaced out, but as we saw with the gap going down between the BMW and the Ferrari, as some of the cars' tyres die off a bit faster than the others, we'll definitely see the field bunching up a little bit more, and especially when they're navigating around those GT4 cars. Some cars will get lucky and some cars will not.
Yeah, especially given the fact that apparently mid-engine cars, their tyres wear out faster towards the rear, of course, so it's going to get more understeery, whereas the front-engine cars, understeery for the front engine cars, oversteery for the rear engine cars, so mid-engine cars. So that's how we can gauge where the tire wear is coming in. But of course, in the car they can adjust that with the brake bias.
So it looks like Russell Reyes has overtaken both the Pro-Am cars now, so he's gotten past the Bentley. And it looks like there's a bit of a battle going on for the lead of the Pro-Am class now, Kian.
Yeah, Sang and Capano back at it again. I was keeping an eye on that timing screen. It looked like Ray's getting past Sang was a little bit more messy than O'Hara getting past Sang, because obviously now that gap that was a couple of seconds closed right back down as the Lamborghini is all over the tail of that Bentley now. Coming through that right-hander, the double right-hander, it's going to open up the left-hander then here, and that Lamborghini is going to try and make its way down the straightaway. We know that that Bentley maybe isn't exactly the quickest car down the straights, as Ammo was alluding to earlier. And GT4 traffic, just what you need, you know. You've got all three classes on screen for you right there for your viewing pleasure.
Indeed, we got pros, pro-ams, and ams in one shot, trying to overtake each other. They have their own particular races too. Plus, in that particular am battle, it's also a battle for the podium, and they're still together. Car 777, car 242. So that's an interesting one to watch out for. How the Porsches have been isolated compared to the Astons, but it's still going to be an interesting battle with that between those guys nonetheless. Now then, Capano's actually lost a bit of time there when they went through the GT4 traffic, don't you think, guys? As Reyes goes! Whoa! Tokyo drifting there through turn 13. How did he save that, guys?
Yeah,
that was a really good save.
It looks like he's been sliding around since the start of the race, so he's probably most likely picked up damage from that. First of all, that start incident, and then that incident that happened a couple of corners later. It looks like there was a lot of banging between the cars, so maybe he's struggling to keep the car together a little bit. But yeah, just having a look through the field now, just checking out the rest of our field, seeing where the battles are right now, because it's always battling in endurance racing. Got to go have a look around, just seeing where everyone is. But yeah, you know what cars we haven't seen much of? We haven't seen much of the McLarens today, actually.
Yeah.
Down the order a little bit here.
Well, apart from Bernard Chan having a big moment at the start of the race where he went into the gravel, that's about the only time that we focus on the McLaren.
I was thinking it, wasn't going to say it.
Yes. Here we are now with Randa Hafaz in the Java Sim car number 906. Debut for this season in this championship, but they're doing well for themselves. 8th place in the championship currently. and right now battling for the podium with the number 100 car, which also didn't make a start last time out. This actually is the one that going to be the best result of the season here if they keep it going where they are.
Yeah, the green livery actually looks really cool as well. I can't lie, the green and black goes really, really well together. But yeah, these guys have been quite close to each other all race. However, hasn't been any overtaking between the two, but that might happen later on. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it looks like the field is now a little bit more spread out, but we are going to be heading to that pit stop phase soon. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, gap out front, 3.2. Kind of stabilizing now, I would say, as they get through traffic. Some maybe Arianza will get lucky, at least might get lucky. We'll have to wait and see. But you've also got to make your own luck through traffic, like what we saw there with Sung and Clapano, because like the Clapano might have been able to overtake Sung if Sung didn't go for that dive bomb. Like you've also got to take the chances when you get them. So a lot of drivers may have stayed back, thought they would have lost less time, just waiting and going around them. But Sung made the overtake. And because of that, he's now built up that bit of a gap to Clapano, which Clapano is now actually closing down a little bit.
But having said that, look at that. Clapano is actually right up the back of that Bentley again. These two are inseparable, and indeed, they have to be inseparable because this is the battle for the win. This is actually a battle for the Pro-Am class win. So really then, Clapano and Alan Drake Cruz aiming for their second consecutive win in this championship. All the while then, the number 69 car is doing bits for their sister car, number 70, which is apparently a car that was supposed to be in this race, but it couldn't come into the servers, so they're doing bits for that particular crew.
Oh, that is a huge shame, but there is a Z Challenger car in the lead though, so that is always a positive for them. So hopefully they will be able to get a result out of today. But yeah, it is a shame, of course. Sometimes internet connection, server issues, they can happen. But yeah, it looks like Clapano is a little bit faster than Sung, but he just hasn't been able to make his way around yet. And Reyes hasn't pulled away that much either. Though O'Hara has actually caught up a little bit to Alif here, because I remember the gap was like 3 or 4 seconds when they were battling. Now it's 1.8. So out of the entire field, I would say that O'Hara is still the fastest, though we did see on lap 1, he did make contact with a car, so maybe he doesn't have as much damage as we originally thought, maybe.
Yeah, in fact, that car only had a bit of a rear end bump anyway. The guy who got the biggest damage on the lot was Reyes. He got front and rear end damage. So no wonder it took a while for him to actually get back up to where he was, albeit sliding his way through the corners. You can see that rear end damage coming into play.
For sure. Let's just have a look back here. Oh, that car looks like it's got a little bit of damage. That may be why, because I remember it was up like 8th or 9th in the field and it's dropped back
with Javier.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
that's... Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
So we got word from Javier right now. He said that he actually got T-boned by Ao Yong when he was actually coming back to the track. Right at this point, he used the escape road, and unfortunately, Javier, when he used that, he got immediately disqualified. And that particular thing has not been removed by Kunos, unfortunately.
Oh, dear. That Audi got very, very close to the Hold My Beer racing car there, as it looks like is a drive-through for our special guest in the studio today, Afiq. The livery that Alex quite likes, the Rapid KO livery.
It's not a drive-through, it's just a bus stop.
No, there's a bus. It's a literal bus.
Bus stop.
The buses are coming here. There you go. That's Afiq right beside us at the moment. He is actually racing with, well, it says hashtag stay at home, but he actually colored this car before in one of his leagues. It is the Rapid KL livery. Nice livery, don't you think, guys?
Yeah, it's definitely a good livery. I'm watching him. He's 2 meters away from us right now in the studio. He's got a drive-through though, so he's going to be making a bus stop, and then yeah, he'll be on his way again. I don't know if there'll be any passengers at the bus stop for him, but yeah, he'll make the stop nonetheless. But it's definitely been a really interesting race so far. There has been battling throughout, which has been amazing to see. Especially in endurance racing, there's battles the whole way through. Like if we go back to 23rd and 24th, these it's a battle for the podium in the GT4 cars. These guys have been at it the whole race. Like every time we've been on board with them, they've been right close to each other or side by side. So Hold My Beer Racing and the Circrew MTSPT car, they've been battling this entire race super close together. So yeah, definitely interesting to see that. And Clapano still just behind Sung, hasn't been able to make his way through. In fact, it looks like Sung has pulled away slightly. So yeah, this is getting to that interesting point now where they're going to be getting ready to make those pit stops now.
Yep, and the pace has settled a bit. Everyone's settling into the race. They're settling into a good rhythm here. They do not want to do any more crazy calamities that will affect the rest of their race. So really then, half an hour to go before we end the first stint as Afi comes into the pits. Yep, into the bus stop. Well, not really, he's just drive through, isn't it? Into the small little bus stop and on his way back onto the track. It's been a bit of a baptism of fire for Afi, especially given the fact that it's a brand new car for him for this particular race, and it has the biggest ballast of the lot, 18 kilos of it.
Yeah, but the Bentley is, as I think you mentioned earlier, is technically one of the fastest cars around this track, so not a bad pick for Misano. But yeah, he saw no passengers at the bus stop, and he's going straight through the pit lane and back out on track. But yeah, I'm just having a look around, just trying to find like a battle here. It looks like maybe potentially for P14, Edward Wong, right behind Taufik here.
And these are not teammates, but they are basically racing in the same car. So Audi versus Audi, and we can actually have a bit of a fun game here to have the viewers guess which car is the Evo 2 and which car is the Evo 1. Well, in this case, both are. I think these. Yep, there you go. You can see the rear wing. The Evo 2 has this curved rear wing towards the end, while the Evo 1 has the curve on the inside like a DTM style wing.
Yeah. But yeah, close battle here, Kian.
Yeah, it's obviously an inter-class battle here. We have Moyen, who's a little bit behind Hafiz and Siami. Siami did manage to make his way past Hafiz, who looked like a made mistake because they were about a tenth apart, and then they were a second and a half apart at one point. But we have Edward Wong for that Project G STMY. I got that out, thankfully. 79, the number 79 Pro car makes its way past the GT4 there, and you know, and again, another one of these issues, you're not really battling for position on track, in class right now, rather, but you are battling for position on track and trying to find your way up to those positions in class. Edward Wong has to play it a little bit careful here to make sure he doesn't really compromise his race, but Art Vanderlei in P15, we are on board with right now, seems to be in not too bad a position, would you say?
Yeah, car 15 winners last time out in South Africa in Kyalami. Surprise winners, of course, because the guys who won out on track, JMX Phantom, got a post-race penalty. So it's a bit anticlimactic, but they did get the win in the end, and they could build on that momentum to actually fight for the championship. In fact, they are third place in the championship right now. Would you believe it?
Yeah.
Speaking of third place, O'Hara, sorry to cut you up there, Josh, but O'Hara 5 attempts away from a leaf, so that's going to be a battle for P2 that will be brewing away really soon. In fact, if we jump on board, there we go. Yes, the two Ferraris, both drivers have been doing their bits to try and make it happen. A leaf is actually closed up on Ardianza as well, but this is going to be one of the more titular battles in this race so far.
Indeed, titular battle for the proverbial podium in the overall class. So this is where the glory is going to come in for everybody. This is where the news headlines are going to be written about them. And O'Hara then will try to see if he could make a maneuver stake anyway soon, because this is between two equally matched cars, to be honest. Ferrari versus Ferrari. So he's going to have to really send it one on the inside to make it happen, don't you think, Kian?
Yeah, he's going to have to try and get a bit aggressive here, a bit punchy. We know Australians like to lick the stamp and send it. 3 attempts is the difference between the number 1 and the number 111. So 4 ones. Who's going to come out number 1 in this battle here?
Well, there'll be one guy who'll be coming out of that one in front. Yeah, we're not doing the one.
Can we say 1 before they won?
Yeah, we're not doing the one jokes here. There's no one Pablo Montoya.
Win one Formula 1 race. If these guys were to win one ERGP race, they wanted to be this one today. They had their bad start. We are, 40 minutes into the race now. They are 2 tenths behind still here. And again, it's looking a bit processional now. They managed to close that gap, but there just isn't enough difference between these drivers at that top level. As we come through the variant of the Parker, it's going to be the number 1 still trying to hound a Leaf into a mistake, but that might be a bit futile, as we know a Leaf is a very strong and consistent driver who knows what he's doing.
Indeed, and rarely ever he makes any mistakes anyway, so it's a tough call here for O'Hara. Where is he going to try to overtake? He may just want to try to send one on the inside if he gets a draft. He's about 0.3 of a second behind here. Coming out to turn 8. Will this be a maneuver? Will he try a dink? Nope. He's just following him. But I think he knows full well the fact that the leader is only about 3 seconds away from him. So he doesn't really have to do anything brash. He can have the pit stops be in his favor. Unless, of course, that pit stop requires damage fixing.
Yeah, he doesn't want to lose too much time for sure. What O'Hara's got to do is just going to forget to use the brake pedal for about 25 meters extra. send it down the inside of a Leaf. But yeah, as you said, the gap between the top 3, O'Hara has definitely been the fastest driver this entire stint. He's had to make his way through that Pro-Am drivers, and he's now behind Alif. And Alif is also catching up to Adianta as well. So those tires on the BMW, maybe not. Oh, it looks like Alif actually runs quite wide here. So yeah, O'Hara has got to send it, I think, Ammo.
Yeah, he's definitely gonna have to send one, but where? Because remember, this circuit really rewards you for absolute late braking, and you said rightfully just now he needs to brake at least 25 meters less away from where he normally brakes to just really want to send one on the inside. But at the moment, Alif is matching him, and in terms of lap time, 35.4, 35.3, so they're doing about the same lap times, but still about what? A 10th off. In fact, among the top three right now, O'Hara is actually about 300s faster than Dafa Adianta, so they're matching each other's lap times to a 10th.
Yeah, the earlier the better that O'Hara makes a move here, because once we get to that pit stop phase, we know the BMW is going to be a little bit stronger once it comes out of the pits, because it does seem to be that extra success balance, that extra, bop balance on that BMW is actually causing a bit more wear than on these Ferraris, who are closing in that gap. Alif is really pushing now. Maybe he was doing a little bit of tire protection before, but he's holding O'Hara at bay, and he's closing in on Adianta. Still 2.5 seconds is the gap. You get the feeling that O'Hara thinks that if he manages to get through, he can close that gap a lot quicker, and having the fastest lap of the race so far, maybe that's warranted.
Indeed. He has the pace in pocket, so maybe he's saving the best of that car for much later when he really needs to use it. As we look at the battle for P3 in the Pro-Am class, and it's between Randa Hafaz, Harishami, and well, that's not actually the battle, isn't it? Because that's Bernard Chan. Bernard, I don't even see him where he is. So
He's 5 laps down.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the battle for P3 and P4. So disregard that McLaren, despite being in the same class, he is not in the battle for position. This is the battle for position we're looking at. 3rd and 4th between McLaren and Aston Martin. How many times have we heard that over this season in F1? We're seeing it here as well in the EuroGP Endurance Edition as Harris tries to send one at turn 9. Unfortunately, no way through just yet. Randa Hafaz holds on to it. And again, this is a battle between cars that are relatively matched, but a bit of a difference in between how they corner. And it looks as though the McLarens got the advantage over the Aston through the corners, but the straight, the Aston can still just catch up. Look at that. Look at how fast he caught up to the back of that McLaren.
Oh, geez, it looks like he's getting very, very close there. But this is going to be frustrating Bernard as well, because he looks like he's the faster of the three of them. But he doesn't really want to get involved in this battle here because he is 5 laps down. So it's a little bit awkward if he goes for the move and then there's an accident or something like that. But yeah, it's definitely close between these guys, and as before, it's also close between the battle here for the lead. It looks like O'Hara has got past Alif here, so I must have got that through the GT4 field. Potentially might have made an overtake through there. But yeah, O'Hara is now free to catch up to Adianta.
And Adianta's only 1.3 seconds ahead of them. So the battle between these three teams for 3 separate entries on this one, because they're not teammates at all. Adianta just about ahead of the Laundry House car, while Alif in 3rd place has actually lost out a bit. So really then, if he kept it up in front of the Laundry House car, he would have been right up to the back of BMW, but unfortunately he has conceded that position, and now O'Hara is free to attack here, the BMW or Dafa Adianta. This is what we like to see, guys. Coming to the end of the first stint, it's all heating up here in front.
Yeah, do you guys play Mario Kart? I think that O'Hara looks a little bit like a blue shell here, you know? He's going up towards that 1st place position at a rapid pace, and it's going to spell disaster if he gets past here for Adianta. O'Hara has been absolutely quick. Alif is going to hope that he can try and hold on to O'Hara and use whatever scrapping happens ahead between the BMW and Ferrari driver to try and work his way into P2 or potentially P1 again. That Stratos Flash car has seemed quick, but maybe a little bit, you know, not quite the top of these 3 here.
And the fact that we saw last time out the leaders when we were in Kyalami, the leaders fell away like flies, and the guy who actually won the race picked up the pieces from it. So Alif may try to play that strategy here. He just wants to hold it back. Hopefully the guys in front just somehow, on his part, knock each other out. So in this case, he's just holding back and letting O'Hara do the business for him, don't you think?
Yeah, and as Kian said, O'Hara is a bit like a blue shell right now. But yeah, that incident at the start, that's happened, and now there's almost a it's a three-way battle for the win now, so it's kind of now equaled out again. What we need to do is we need to give Reyes a golden mushroom, and then we've got a four-way battle for the lead as well. But yeah, O'Hara just looks to be catching up to Adianza here. He seems to be the clear fastest out of the three of them right now, Emma.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. And despite the lap times being in the 36, that previous lap is of course no thanks in small part to GT4 traffic actually holding him up. We'll see this particular lap. Where is the pace at right now? 35.6, 34.9 for O'Hara, and 35.3. So 34s for O'Hara. He is definitely a man on a mission. He's got the bit between his teeth here to actually catch up to the back of David Adianza. But where is he going to overtake? Where is he going to risk it all here and try to extend an early lead as we come out to the end of the first hour?
Yeah, it's super close between these guys now. We'll go on board with, actually, we'll stay on board with Leaf here, actually, because he's got a great view of this battle here. It looks like O'Hara is actually right behind here, Adianza.
Ooh,
is he going to go down the inside here?
He is going to try. He's going to
try.
try.
The stamp, he's sending it.
And he has actually mailed it. He's got that move stick. Can David Adianza fight back? No, he can't. And he made it a bit too easy there, Josh.
Yeah, that is quite interesting, but he does have a GT4 to worry about now. Looks like he's got through that cleanly, so O'Hara is going to take this opportunity and try and pull away as much as he can before that pit stop phase.
Indeed, and for Alif, that is the worst kind of feeling he could ever have. That's a sinking feeling for him. He actually did not want to see O'Hara get away that quickly too soon. So, now then, Alif may try to want to do his part to overtake on David Adianza as well, to actually get up to the back of Andrew O'Hara. This was not this was not in the script. O'Hara has overtaken him and now has overtaken Adianza. Alif has to catch up to the back of him again.
Yeah, this is not looking good for the JMX car right now, but in terms of the championship though, this is good for Alif though, because I believe, if I'm correct, this is the JMX Phantom that isn't in the championship fight as much as the other one, is it?
The number 10, yeah, the number 10 is behind him.
Okay. Oh yeah, so it's in 4th place, so he's still ahead, so that's good for him. But yeah, he's going to want to get past this JMX car as much as possible, because the more that these guys battle, the more the JMX car can catch up.
Yep. And unfortunately, the JMX number 13 here has actually stolen a couple of points. In fact, 5 points for pole position in this one. And no, actually, there's no points for pole position in this one. Oh, there's a back marker there. A back marker. That's Joshua Nabus in the number 28 Veloce Ragazza car. And that has actually that has actually allowed Alif to catch up to the back of these two up in front. There's David Adianza around the outside, O'Hara on the inside, and they nearly collided there for a second with the GT4. And Alif then, all the while, catches up to the back of him. Guys, where do you think he's going to go?
This is a three-way battle right now for the lead. This is great. As up the inside goes Alif on the JMX Phantom car, and it looks like he's made a stick. So there, finally, after chasing him down for so many laps there, Alif manages to make that move happen. And if you're looking forward to O'Hara now, trying to hunt him down again before he gets way too far away to make anything happen, because we've seen the pace of that Ferrari up in the lead. We've seen how hard Alif has been working away, and just a little bit greedy there, perhaps, from the JMX car. Really compromised him into the run into that corner and let Alif get in there.
Yeah, so that battle now is going to be a little bit interesting to see what happens now, because now they're kind of in the order of the pace that they've been doing this entire stint, so it might spread out a little bit, but then put on new tyres, the BMW might be the fastest again, so we'll have to wait and see if they re-overtake each other or anything like that. We are getting near the pit stop phase. 3 hours and 9 minutes to go in this race, so they should be pitting soon, as we do actually have one car in the pits right now, Francis.
Low damage.
But yeah, that might have been an unscheduled pit stop, unfortunately, for them. But yeah, Klapano as well, heading back to the lead for this car. He's still just behind Sung, but he's a little bit closer than what he was last time we checked in.
Well, these two have actually been inseparable. As we said before, inseparable seems to be the word, these two. As now, Klapano, where is he going to attack this Bentley, who seems to be struggling for pace at the moment? You can see how the car was sliding coming out to the double right-handers there. It looks as though the Lambo is the faster of the two, but it's just that the Bentley has the legs on the Lambo on the straights. Look at that. Look at how far the Bentley can pull away here. Klapano, though, seems as though he wants to try it this time. Oh, there's going to be an accident. There is going to be an accident there. Oh, that was so close between the Aston and the Bentley. The Aston in GT4. Nabus may have actually had the shock of his life seeing a Bentley trying to overtake. Oh! They beat each other this time, and Sung spins around completely, almost 360, and Clapano then may have to back it off, otherwise he might get a penalty. Yep, he backs it off, nearly hits the other Filipino car of the Velocidad Grazzo car, and he is signaling thank you for giving that back, but unfortunately for them, that has costed them a bit of time to the guys in front.
Yeah, that is not what either of them wanted, though. They do have a bit of a gap to the other Pro-Am cars, but hopefully they haven't picked up too much damage from that. But yeah, woof, that is not fun for them.
That was absolutely dramatic and that was for the win in the GT Pro-Am class. Dear oh dear, that's as close as knife break case you're ever gonna get.
Yeah, what that's also done as well, because Joshua lost a little bit of time there, because he not only got stuck by that incident, but then when he was trying to give the place back, he was kind of stuck behind them, and he couldn't really accelerate. So that's allowed the 57 car in the GT4 class to catch up 2.3 now. So he did it 6 seconds faster that lap. So
whoa,
yeah, that's definitely closed up the battle in the GT4 class a little bit as well, Ammo.
And indeed, Josh, these two guys are also looking for their first ever wins in the championship. Car 28 has never won. The best has ever finished is a third. Zikri in car number 57 for Racing Line. The best ever they've got was second twice now. And that was last time in Kyalami. So they really want to get a win here to set themselves up for the championship. Knowing the fact that car 777, the leader of the championship in GT4, is still struggling to get away from the circuit number 242 car. Wow.
Yeah,
roll on the action.
These guys have been battling all race, these GT4 cars. So yeah, this has been an awesome battle so far. But yeah, so much drama that's happened in this race. That start was crazy what happened at the start. So yeah, there's still battles going on throughout regardless. So, and what that's allowed to do actually, Kairudin has caught up to Klapana and Sung as well. And Klapana's going to have to try and make that overtake again as well now, because he did look like he had the pace advantage. But now he might have potentially picked up some damage when he ran into the back of Sung.
Yep. What would you prefer between you guys? Open question to you two. Oversteer or understeer? Because you had front damage, it's going to understeer. Rear damage, you can have oversteer. So which would you rather prefer?
Most games?
Yeah.
Oversteer. ACC, understeer.
Okay. Kian?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. In most cases, I'd prefer a little bit of oversteer because you can still push and, you know, sometimes use that over rotation to coax a little bit more pace out of the car. That being said, ACC is a little notorious for once the car breaks away from you, it's a bit harder to recollect. So, understeer. I'm on board with Josh with this one.
Okay, so understeer it is. That is the order of the day. And for the guy in the second in shot here, the Lamborghini, Alexis Capano, he has definitely going to get understeer because he has front damage, while the guy in front, Chris Sung, with the damage to the rear, he's going to have a lot of oversteer. So Karudin then, he doesn't want to battle these guys. He knows full well that he's got points for 5th place in this one. It's just a matter of overtaking into for overall position here. But will he risk it, guys?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, he's got a good view of the battle for the lead of the Pro-Am now, thanks to that incident. So we'll stay on board with him for a little bit here as we are about to head to the pit stop phase, give it a couple of laps, and we'll be seeing all the cars in pit lane.
Yep. And by the time
Ali Karadin, he's doing a good job as cameraman here, don't you reckon, Alan?
Yes, he's got the best shot in the house to see if there's any other incidents that are going to happen. We already have that with Ali. He was looking at the battle between himself, Adiansa, and O'Hara. O'Hara's actually got to the better of both of them, and now he's up in front. And amazingly, the guy who bogged the start still managed to claw his way back out to the front before the hour ended.
Yeah, amazing. But it'll be interesting to see what happens now in the second stint and seeing if he can pull a gap or not. But yeah, they've probably got 2 or 3 laps before they pop into pit lane. Just got to chuck on some new tyres and send them out again for another stint. So yeah, I wonder if they will want to get ahead before the pit lane though, because maybe they're a bit more confident entering pit lane, or maybe they're not as confident, they want to hold the other person up.
For God knows whatever reason, I guess we get to go back to Monaco where Alonso just wants to hold back his tires and hold the rest of the field. We probably won't see like one field is here, the other one is on the other side of the track. We won't see any of that, but Chris Sung is making his way to doing that right now. He is holding up Klapano and Kairudin. All the while then, where is Art Vanderlei? Oh no, Vanderlei is way off, so this is a battle between these 3 for overall position.
And yes, so looks like there's a bit of a gap that's built up between the leaders now, with 1.7 and I believe I saw 2.2 between Alif and Adiansa to O'Hara. So A little bit spread out now, but that might all change as we head into pit lane, and there's still this battle is going on. Capado just can't find a way through. He's been stuck behind Sung for like this entire stint. He does look the faster of the two right now, but he'll want to get ahead because of course these are in the Pro-Am category, they'll be getting in the other drivers after this. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here, but Kairuda just staying back, giving us a good view of what's happening.
Yes, absolutely. It's a great move to actually stick with Kairuda right now because Kalpano here looking rather antsy. He really wants to get going here and overtake Sung, but he's been stuck behind him for almost eons right now. We're coming to the end of the stand. Oh, they really hit each other. Sung actually was going into the pits, and Kalpano might have had the shock of his life ×2 after what happened before.
Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
scenario push, Klapano. You need to try and make as good of an in-lap here as you can, as we saw Sang there dive into the pits of 69 Bentley, going for the undercut. It's going to come down to how quickly those tires can warm up and how much Klapano really does have a bit of pace advantage over Sang. This one's going to be close coming out the pits.
Oh, really, for sure. We're going to see how that plays out once the other guy comes into the pits, which is Klapano. So we'll wait and see. Is he going to swap drivers? Is he going to stay in? We'll have to find out once they come in. Plus, the fact that we had to, point of note, I think for endurance racing, we had to give it a fact it's like a football match. You want to actually keep the players who are in that particular phase where the pace of the game, they know how to read it. If you put a new guy in, a substitute, he may not be able to be up into the same gears as quickly, don't you think?
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind for my Football Manager playthrough.
But yeah, one thing as well to note right now, from what I've been noticing, Bernard Chan, he's 5 laps down, but he does actually look quite fast right now. He's been making his way through the GT field. So he does have a bit of pace, but that unfortunate incident must have just set him a couple of laps back.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's maybe always, it looks like the Stratos Flash car heading into the pit lane now, a Leaf. O'Hara has stayed out, I believe. But it'll be interesting to see here what Kalpano does. See if he overcuts or gets undercut.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to note the strategies here because this is crucial whether or not an undercut or an overcut will pay off for some of these guys. As Kalpano then stays up for yet another lap.
Russell Reyes heads into the pit lane as well. So this is good though because it does give them more of an opportunity to play around with the strategy later on in the race because stints an hour, they go over an hour, got more room to play with. So does give a bit more breathing room to them, whereas the people who've already pitted, they might have to do a splash and dash to the end if that was a genuine pit stop, if they were struggling for fuel.
Yep, but I think it's more towards struggling for tires because fuel is definitely not an issue in ACC compared to like in a prototype where we have less fuel, of course.
Yes.
So really then it's just a matter of wiggle room you have with your tires. As Alif now exits the pits and still stays in front of Russell Reyes in that particular battle for the top 4. But he's stuck behind the back marker, so he might just have to clear that guy quickly. The number 120 TVRL car that's currently be driven by Benson Cheong.
Very interesting to see what's happening right now. All this drama unfolding during the pit stop phase. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see once everyone comes in what the order looks like. So just gotta wait for everyone to file out, and we shall see. Just having a look through now, seeing as anyone's exiting pits. You've got to be careful when you're exiting the pits because you're heading near the racing line. So might see a little bit of side-by-side action when people are exiting pit lane here.
Yeah. And in fact, it's almost just like what other circuits actually have a very dodgy pit.
Paul Ricard.
Paul Ricard, yeah, that's a dodgy one.
That's not a fun pit lane.
Or Donington, yeah, Donington has that.
Oh, Donington, yes, for sure. Because it's like on the, both of them is on the racing line, so you got to always watch out, as it looks like Adianta's in the pit lane as well. So it'll be interesting to see where he comes out in comparison to Alif as well. Just keeping an eye on these pit exits just to see if we can locate any action. But they do have to stay on the pit limiter for a long time here through the pit lane as they wait to chuck off the pit limiter and go full speed again.
Right there.
There it is.
That pit lane is so long. It's actually one of the longest in the game, I think.
Yeah.
Apart from Spa, of course.
Yeah, Spa's got the long pit lane. That's the one track you don't want to get a drive-through at.
Oh, that just kills your race. Aiken, that you do not want to have a drive-through in Spa.
Yeah, Spa's a tricky one because you have both the endurance, the pit lanes, you know, so you have the first one and then you have the second one after turn 1, and then you also have that massive exit road coming around the backside of Arouge Radian, then coming right back out with a massive speed. It's just murderous that pit lane is.
Absolutely. And well, speaking of where we are in terms of track positions, there's Dafa Adiansa coming out of the pits, and I think he's well and truly clear of number 1 of Andrew O'Hara. No.
So-
Because O'Hara hasn't bid it yet.
So it looks like a Leaf was quite clear ahead of Adianza. So Adianza seems to be a bit of a someone who's lost out in that pit stop phase. It looks like the other so it looks like they've chucked out Russell Reyes, chucked in Presley Martono, and he's right behind Adianza, his teammate as well now. So potentially the BMW had a longer stop than expected.
And the fact that they actually didn't have damage at all. They cleared away from that
Yeah,
first corner,
they did,
first corner skirmish. So really then, not sure how number 13 lost that much time, but it is what it is. Adianza now with a lot of work to do. 5 seconds he's lost to Alif.
For sure, and it looks like Klapana's in the pit lane now, so we'll have to see where he comes out in comparison to his Pro-Am rival.
Which is Chris Sung.
Doesn't look like there's been much drive. The only change drivers, there's been a couple of driver swaps. The one furthest up in the field, definitely Presley Martono, though. The rest of them looks like they're going for another stint.
Yep, it goes back to the point that I said about do you want to have your driver who is already in tune with the pace of the race to still be in there. So just double stint same drivers, and after that you go for 2-2. You do not want to go on and off to just upset the rhythm, you might say, don't you think?
For sure, yeah. It'll be interesting to see now where Klapano comes out in comparison. Just having a look through the field now, as almost everyone's made their pit stops. The only one who hasn't
is O'Hara.
And Kai Rudin. They've both been pulling away. The other thing I did notice as well, gap between Klapano and O'Hara when he headed into the pit lane, 26 seconds.
That's
one stint. Bit of a gap.
Bit of a gap, and in fact there's a bit of a class difference, but regardless, they're still quite fast here to match up with the pro guys. As where is the number 69? Alan Drake Cruz. So, they're not taking our advice. They're actually going for the 1-1-1-1. So, Cruz comes out of pits. Where is Chris Sung in relation to him? There is Chris Sung! So, there we go. The Pro-Am class has not changed hands yet. Despite the overcut that has been done by the number 31, it is not enough. The number 69 still comes out ahead.
Nib and tuck. They're so close together, it's crazy. We saw the gap that Alif pulled there over Adianza. 5 seconds. These guys came out a couple attempts apart, and now Alan Drake Cruz, the wonder child, has been called by myself from previous races. 10 years old. He is in that 31, and he's going to be hunting down and trying to get past that 69 Bentley.
I don't know how he would be feeling about that, because I think they also fixed damage, because the number 69 and the number 31 were both involved in collisions. So they might have fixed damage, but Alan Drake Cruz might have his heart sinking for a second there, knowing that he thought he might have had the lead in class, but then the number 69 just popped up right in front of him. So he's got some work to do here to actually reclaw the deficit that he has at the moment after that pit stop, which looked so good for the number 31.
Been the story of this race so far. The 31 froze everything they have at 69. 69 managed to come out just on top some way, somehow. The end of the first pit stops, these are your orders. Kyridan still has not pit, so for a lap or two now, he may lead the race. As O'Hara continues his way out of the pits, he will be in that net lead once everything goes out. And it's actually Lawrenson now. They've done a driver change, have the laundry house car.
Yep, and in fact, he's still 5 seconds ahead. So I think with the pit stop shuffling out of the way, it's a perfect time to go to a commercial break. We'll be right back after these short messages from our sponsors.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. computer evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
That was Mozart.
Welcome back to the action here for eRacing GP Endurance Edition, round 3 for 2022. My name is Amir Hazing, alongside me is Josh Perwin, McLaren Shadow Champion, and we have here the next hour of our broadcast for what is actually turning out to be a very interesting race up in front. We had so much action to go through, but before we get back into that, we'll thank our sponsors at the bottom here, Xbox, Axel, Royal Selangor, who make the pewter trophies, Motorsports Playground, who make the beautiful wraps, or if you saw the commercial just now, and they will be put onto the cars, the model cars that we sent to the champions, and Life Apparel will make these shirts for us. So huge shout out to all of our sponsors, who without them this thing wouldn't be possible. Now then, the first hour we saw just now, especially in the first 25 minutes, was absolutely interesting. We thought that we had 2 hours worth of highlights in there, but a lot has happened, and ultimately though, we're looking up here, the guy who bogged the start is back up in front, Josh.
Yeah, so they've done a driver change as well, as you said just before the ad break. So we had Andrew O'Hara in at the start, so he got pole position. He didn't have the best start. He kind of bulked down, got into 6th or 7th place, potentially picked up some damage. Then after that, he just made his way through the field. He was the fastest on the track. And now they've got Andrew Lawrenson on board now in that car, and he's pulling out a bit of a gap to a leaf. Ardianto a little bit behind. Presley Martono, who wasn't in the car at the start, is catching up to Ardianto a little bit. So the JMX Phantoms fighting for that podium position right now. Back to the Pro-Am class, Sung is currently leading. Now, he was under pressure from Copano that entire stint. They've put in Alan Drain Cruz, 4.3 seconds behind now. So that battle has died down a little bit. And then back to the GT4 class, it looks like they've made a driver change as well. We've got Lance Padilla in the lead right now, 4 seconds ahead of the 57 car. So, yeah, looks like the race is stabilizing a little bit now, but we've still got 2 hours and 47 minutes of action to go.
And we have our third commentator on board as well, Kian Butler, who is also keeping an eye on the action. And Kian, is Josh's assessment of the race lined up to how you saw it as well?
Yeah, it's been quite an interesting one so far. The first couple of 20-30 minutes, they saw a bit of a reshuffling of the grid as those who made a poor start and those who made a great start kind of worked their way back to where they were in qualifying order, more or less. We had a couple of drivers around battling, right now we're seeing Yang Ming and Leong battling away, but yeah, we've seen now, for example, Alan Drake Cruz jump in a car. He has dropped back a little bit, so that has me thinking maybe they thought it best to put their AM driver in, since the pro driver wasn't making too many inroads on that Bentley, and then put the pro driver back in later on in the race to allow him a chance to try and overtake.
That's an interesting thought, isn't it? Because normally you want to have like 2 and 2, like two drivers two drivers split between 2 hours for the 4-hour race, so you can have the faster driver first, after that the AM driver finish. But I think the number 31 crew are going for a different type of strategy where they're gonna go 1-1-1-1, I guess.
Yeah, or at least 1-2-1, get a couple hours in there for Drake Cruz, and then get your boy Clopano back in.
And he was providing absolutely interesting action as, Ming there dives one on the inside of Leong, and takes a position away. He's up to the top 10 overall and still maintains third position in class, and he's well ahead of Randa Hafaz, who was in the 906 McLaren that he was battling for class podiums. For the class podium, yeah. So he also made up ground on that number 906 car. He was right behind him before the pit stops, so the 906 has actually dropped out big time. And the story of the pit race so far is the pit stops, and we saw up in front as well how the number 13 BMW, who led the race overall, came into the pits afterwards, lost so much time after being overtaken by the number 111 and number 1 car. So what's the deal on that, guys?
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see. And the other thing that I'm actually quite interested in is the battle for the lead. Now, it's quite interesting right now. Andrew Lawrence's last lap, 36.1, Alif 35.0. And Presley Martono has been going really, really fast as well. He's been banging out those high 34s as well. Alif doing the best lap of the race as well, not this time round, but the time before. So Alif and Martono seem to be catching up to Lawrence in a little bit. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. But Martono does have 6.4 seconds to find over this next 45 minutes before the end of this stint. So let's see how much time he can get.
2 seconds.
What happened to Lawrenson? Now what happened to Lawrenson? That was about 1.8 seconds just now. It has now dropped to 0.8 of a second. So I think the Ferrari may have had the same problems just now. It may have been throttle failure. I'm going to look at the comment section right now and give a shout out to the people who have been commenting on our stream. But for the second time in this race, the number 1 car seems to be having some pace issues.
Yeah, so you can also see on the onboard just that you can kind of see Alif's car kind of just in his mirrors now. So that's going to put Andrew Lawrence under a little bit of pressure. But yeah, lap time wise, it seems to be a little bit of an issue for the Laundry House car. I'm not exactly sure what's happening. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see 35.0. So the lap times for these top 4 or top 3 even right now are in the league of their own in terms of lap times. And the rest of the field is doing 36s. They're still doing 35s, low 35s even for Alif. But yeah, Alif's car, you can see the green behind it. It's catching up. And you can see an onboard of Andrew Lawrence in there with his camera. He's got a pedal cam as well as a cam, the normal camera as well. So
Yeah.
it's interesting to see his throttle and brake inputs as well.
And look at that, right foot breaker. He only brakes with his right foot. He's like Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yes, like Shane Van Gisbergen, yes. Bit of an Australian thing, I guess. A lot of them like to do it. Yeah, Alif is catching up, so I don't know how long he's going to be able to hold this lead for. Yeah, he's just trying to get on the power as well a little bit. But yeah, now we're on board with Alif here, just behind Andrew Lawrence here. Will he be able to make this overtake? And how soon will he make it?
Well, let's see how soon can he get out to the back of it, because it looks as though Lawrenson's actually picked up the pace again. Albeit, look at the last time lap last time we're looking at it. 36.3 and a 34.9. That's the difference. Alif is the 34.9, a 1.2 second difference.
Now, if you look at the lap times here, there's only 3 drivers in the 34s right now. You've got Alif, Presley, and you've also got Farhad Ghafour in the car, the Honda 369 right now. So, of course, a little bit too far back to be fighting for the lead right now, but still great pace nonetheless. So, Presley Martono is slowly catching up to this as well. And the more these guys battle, the more he'll be able to catch up too.
Yes. And for Presley, that's what he really wants. He's licking his lips at the moment here that he's got the pace to actually catch up. He's the only other guy in the 34s, and he's faster among the 3 last time out. It was the 34.8. So let's see what the times this time as they come out across the line now. Lawrenson comes across the line, and that's a 35.2, 35.3 for Alif. He's been held up massively. And where is Presley in terms of the lap times? It's 34.8 last time out, and it's a 35.2. So I think they've stabilized the bits as well, actually.
Yeah, interesting to see. Ardianto was actually the fastest last time around, 35.1. So, yeah, maybe the track's getting a little bit warm, potentially. Maybe their tyres are cooking a little bit in the 37-degree track temperature, maybe.
I think it did increase slightly because it was about 35, 36 at the start.
Yeah.
So it's now up to 37. So a degree of temperature increase, you have to add your tire pressures by 0.2. I think that's the rule of thumb. So that's kind of like the intricacies of ACC, where tire pressures are the key, the main ingredient of the game, where you have to get it right. Otherwise, you're going to end up sliding all over the place. And Kian, in this one, if you're Alif, where would you like to overtake Lawrenson? Because he can tell that Lawrenson's struggling right now.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. You know, I would try and overtake in one of the main, you know, something like at the end of this, you have a relatively decent run into a corner, and then you can get a decent braking zone. That being said, that's going to be what he's expecting. So you kind of want to play the trump card here and go for a bit of an ambitious move somewhere, or, you know, at least telegraph a move that then places him out of position, out of line, and compromises his run out of the corner and sets you up for an opportunity in maybe a more traditional braking zone.
That will be also like he wants to do a dink, isn't it? He just tries to take on the inside, fake a move, and then go back in to see if Lawrenson will make that kind of mistake. But at this moment in time, I think Alif is just playing the pressure game. He just wants to keep it behind him, wait until Lawrenson makes a mistake, and then overtake. As you can see there, whoa! Lawrenson actually got a bit squirrely, a bit fishtaily, coming out of the first 2 corners, and now Alif will try to attack, Josh.
Yes, this is a very close battle here. They're going side by side through here. That mistake from Lawrenson opening the door up for Alif here, and will he be able to get the run here? Maybe send it up the inside of Lawrenson. We'll have to wait and see. And interesting last lap as well. Martono and Alif, exact same lap time. And Lawrenson has gotten up to pace a little bit. He just seems to be a little bit more inconsistent right now. Like, he has the pace, just making those little couple of mistakes, which is allowing Alif to catch up and almost go for that overtake.
Indeed, and he's just inviting him, isn't he? He's not getting anywhere further in front here. He's still somewhat holding Alif at bay, but he will rather wish that Alif was much further behind on the horizon. As you're right to point out there, Josh, 35.015. 35.015 for both Alif and Presley Maldonado. We probably need to upload one day a video of how exactly the same that lap time was on lap 48. So that was incredible how they actually got the exact same lap time at this point in the race. As Alif goes a bit wide there, squirrely, following Lawrenson coming out to turn 13, 214. So far, no way through just yet. Apart from that one mistake from Lawrenson, it's enough for Alif to get up to him, but he just can't overtake him at the moment.
Yeah, it was interesting to see the different lines they took through that part of the track, though, because it looked like Alif broke when Lawrenson didn't, and then that gave him the run for the corner after. So that was quite interesting, actually. It looks like different driving styles, maybe, potentially, but yeah, this battle is super, super close. I wouldn't be surprised to see some more side-by-side action very, very soon.
Would the right foot braking actually play a part in that, the way that Lawrenson's driving style is completely different from Alif's? Because we're all left foot breakers, let's give it at that. But right foot braking seems to be a bit, you can tell the guy is turning differently and braking differently.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, most of us are left foot breakers, but well, I mean, if you're going to be faster in the right foot braking, you may as well do it. But yeah, is it Alif? He looks like he's hungry. He looks like he's wanting to go up the inside there, but thinking none the wiser. Doesn't want to risk it again. He is the championship leader. Got a bit of a lead in the championship as well. JMX are behind him. So he's got a little bit of breathing space. Maybe he doesn't want to risk it too much. But yeah, this is definitely getting pretty feisty.
Yep, and remember, it's just only 1 point in it between these two coming into this race. So 25, 20, 16, so that's 4 points. 5 points the difference coming into the next round if things stay where they are coming into round 4. But at the moment, at least, I think Alif would not want to be thinking about that because he wants to think of the win as Lawrenson then defends on the inside. Again, Alif has no way through and he moves a bit on the braking there, every right to, because he is about to take the corner. But Kian, I think Alif may just be looking a bit frustrated, albeit on our screen right now, he is actually just smiling a bit. He's been giving a bit of a smile because he knows full well that he is in tune to the car at the moment.
Yeah, that driving style of Lawrenson seems quite interesting. It seems like he's able to brake a little bit later than Alif in most places, which might be a product of that right foot braking style, you know? That little bit of extra time off throttle, that little bit later time on the brakes, it allows a bit better weight transfer forwards, and so would prevent any sort of like locking up to a bit more on those front wheels and get a bit more weight transfer going into the corners. That being said, Alif coming through that right-hander there, he does seem to be taking a wider entry and a later exit to try and get a better run out of most corners. We have that GT4 traffic up ahead now for Lawrenson, who might find himself a bit of a disadvantage. He's going to have to take a tight line for the corner. Alif takes a dive up the inside of the GT4 traffic, and that is going to keep him right on the tail of Lawrenson, who is pushing as hard as he can right now. Maybe a couple of limitations coming in on that braking style, but Misano is, what, 5.5 seconds behind now. That was around 6.5 seconds.
Yep.
So it's going to be an opportunity at some point if Alif doesn't make the move past Lawrenson for Misano to close up.
Yeah, and do you agree on that, Josh? Because it looks as though that Alif had that comfortable spot at one point. As he tries again, Lawrenson defends on the middle part again, and looks as though, again, Lawrenson would just keep the lead. But Alif may have been comfortable just now because they were lapping the same pace, but Martono is now catching. Will he actually be given a giddy up here to just try and overtake?
Yeah, I think he will be a little bit more desperate to overtake the more time that he loses. But it's very interesting because remember at the start of qualifying when we noticed the 3 Ferraris in a row right there, and we said, you know, they might be top 3 in the race. Look at that. There they are, 1, 2, 3. So yeah, we might be having that same camera shot from the start of the race because it was, if Alif gets ahead of Andrew Lawrenson, we'll get the same shot we got in qualifying in the race. So that'll be very, very interesting to see. But yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Yes, foreshadowing, yes. Giving us a bit of a sneak peek as to what's going to happen in the race, like a trailer.
Yes.
But yeah, it's 2:10 still. Alif just can't find a way through.
No way through just yet. And where was Martono that time around? He was last time out, 36.1 for Lawrenson, 36.1 for Alif, but 35.4. He's gained the second there, guys.
Yeah, I think he's going to be quite happy with the situation that's going up ahead. He wants Andrew Lawrenson to hold Alif up as much as he can. Then we'll get that spicy 3-way battle, maybe 4-way battle if Andrew Lawrenson can hold all 3 of them up. So
yeah. And in fact, Adianta is also not that far away as well because he's only about 1.7 seconds behind Presley Martono. So really then, this is now the 4-way battle for the front that we really wanted to see between 3 different teams. And it'll be interesting to see how that 4th car in that particular battle will play his role in there. As we look again, Alif tries to go through that triple right-handed section to go through, but Lawrenson holds it. And again, he moves under braking there because he wants to take the apex early. And Alif, increasingly, I think, will be a bit frustrated by the way that Lawrenson is driving right now.
It is actually quite interesting because it looks like that Andrew Lawrenson loses most of his time in that one part of the track where Alif cannot overtake. So, but he seems to be fine in the parts where Alif can overtake. So this must be incredibly frustrating for him because he's not close enough to make the move in the parts where he can, but in the parts where he can't, he's just losing so much time stuck behind him. And look at that, 35.7, 35.9. Presley Martono last time around, 35.2.
Oof. And that is a clear 0.5 of a second faster than the race leader. So he's getting another 0.5. 4.3 right now as we have an inset of Tusby, who is shaking his legs like a Red Bull mechanic right now in the days where everyone's doing tap dancing. He is tap dancing. He is nervous because that's the car that he's going to take over after this.
Yes, he doesn't want Alif to damage it or anything like that, but he also wants Alif to get the lead. So he's very nervous right now. They're in the same room right now, so he can just look at his screen, which is always really nice to see. Yeah, 3/10 is the gap now. He's just stuck behind. This must be incredibly frustrating. But the Laundry House car, I don't know what's happened to it. Like, it just seems like Andrew Lawrence is struggling maybe a little bit more than what Andrew O'Hara was.
Yeah, and the fact that he had a 4-second gap when he cycled through the pit stops. O'Hara had a big gap, and the in-lap was so good that he actually, when he got out of the pits, it actually gave him that much of a gap. But now that gap's all but evaporated, and he's gonna have to look behind more than he is looking in front.
Oh no, the rapid KO car got another drive-through.
Oh, and Afi got another drive-through. Yes, Kia, we're just pointing out that the bus has to go through the bus station again. Oh, okay, I think we lost Kian for a second.
Oh, I'm here. Sorry. Yeah, no, I mean that bus back, the number 49. That's one way of doing rapid transport, you know. Though it is a bit interesting considering that, you know, a lot of times buses run routes that have multiple stops. This guy only one stop, and it's always in the same place. So maybe not the most profitable of the rapid KL routes, as we're on board still with Elif and Lawrence, and 3 temps is the gap, 4 temps is the gap now. So a little bit of ebb and flow between his two. At some point, you have to say that Elif kind of just has to send it around the outside somewhere and try and hope that he can do it in a place where it opens up the opportunity onto the inside of the next corner. There are opportunities around the track to do something like that, but he has to be close enough, and he has to hope maybe that these guys up ahead, they are coming up to some lap traffic of the 696, a couple other cars. Yep. So maybe that will open up an opportunity here for Elif to make something happen.
But easier said than done, of course, Kian, because you have to remember these are between 2 similar cars, the Ferrari. So we had to go back to the point that we said before. He's gonna have to really send that one on the inside to get anything done. But he's up against a really hardcore customer as well, in the form of Andrew Lawrenson and the Laundry House team, who have such fast drivers. But at the moment, at least in this current juncture, the Ferrari in front is not the one that's the fastest. The guy in second place actually is the faster of the two, and he just can't seem to overtake him. So really then, Alif has to bide his time here, because right now, if he looks behind him, the other Ferrari, number 10 for JMX Phantom, Presi Martono, is coming in at almost like a rate of knots, about 4 seconds at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he really is.
Awesome, but yeah, let's have a look here. And yeah, this is another overtaking opportunity for Elif as well, the GT4s. If he can get them in the right spot and displace Andrew Lawrenson a little bit, that's his opportunity to send it around the inside. But he does look like he's dropped off a little bit from Lawrenson a little bit. Lap times last time around, 0.5 for Lawrenson, 0.6 for Elif, and then 0.5 for Pelsley. So maybe Lawrenson's found his groove a little bit, stabilized a little bit.
Yep, he's found his groove. That's the right thing to say as well, because he's found his groove again. But albeit he's got really some fast, hungry sharks right behind him, ready to overtake, as they are now overtaking car number 696. That is Shazwan Shafiq for the GSR car, and they made it both through safely. So the GT3 traffic at least slightly more predictable, because they can go offline, albeit if they're going to the straights, it's about the same power. But the GT4 traffic, that's the problem they're going to face. And right now, I think they've cleared most of the GT4 traffic. The other one is the 777 car of Joey Gutierrez, running in 3rd place right now in the GT4 AM class. So they got no GT4 traffic to worry about. They have clear air. Now they can resume the battle.
Yeah, for sure. And another battle to watch out for, which should be brewing soon as well. We've got to keep an eye on the leaders, of course, but Fahad Ghafour has been going incredibly fast and is catching up to Alan Drake Cruz in the Pro-Am class as well. So 10-second gap now between Sung and Cruz. So it does look like that battle is kind of dying out a little bit, but there's a car stop there. The
79, yeah, 79. That's Abdul Hakim. So that's one of the Speed Tavern cars driving the Audi for this round. They used to drive the Aston. Yeah, the drive-through for good measure. But I think, did he get a drive-through prior to that, or was it already on?
I think he got that from that. Slowed down too much.
No, because he just went off the track and he thought he could clear it, but unfortunately the game gave it to him. And look at that, 79-49, both are Speed Tavern cars, and both have a drive-through penalty at the exact same time.
Oh, no, that's not good, yeah.
And we got a boss right here. Afi is the team principal in essence, so hopefully he's not hearing what we're saying here right now, but that's just the most calamitous way to have your team meeting up together. As there he is.
Bus goes in for the bus stop, hey. But yeah, it looks like Presley's lost a little bit of time in that traffic though. He maybe got them in a more unlucky spot than the other team. But yeah, just going around the field a little bit now. We've got about halfway through this stint so far. Definitely been a lot more interesting than I thought it was, because they kind of, in that first stint, they jumbled up the order a little bit, got back to the order, and now the pace order's kind of changed a little bit as well. So plenty of opportunities around the overtake.
Indeed, as we look at we go at the bus for a second. There you go. He's now exiting his station and ready to drive around the routes again. You can see the side of the car. It says 16,000 kilos, so that is just presumably how heavy the buses are in real life, 16 tons.
Yeah, we've got our special guest in the studio today, Afiq, sitting 2 meters away from us in his sim rig, driving today. So, yeah.
Yeah, about 2 kangaroos away from us.
2 kangaroos away from us, yes. 1 kangaroo bounce.
Yes.
But yeah, he's doing a good job so far. Had a couple of drive-throughs though, but you know the bus has got to stop somewhere, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's not the KL Express. It's got to take a couple of stops.
Well,
as I found out last night.
Not so rapid, eh? Anyway, back up now to 3rd place. 4.7 seconds behind 2nd place of our leaf is Presi Martona. It looks as though the pace kind of dove off a bit because look at that. Dafa Adianza is now 0.3 of a second behind him. He was about 1.4 seconds, so the Ferraris then, it's like a hit or miss, isn't it, Kian? You can either have good tyre wear on one car and bad tyre on the other.
Yeah, it comes down to that driving style again. You know, some people like to attack that early part of the corner really hard, generate a little bit of understeer that helps heat that front tire up, and then get a little bit of extra grip in that second part of the corner. Other people try and keep it nice and smooth on corner entry, which tends to be the preferred driving style in ACC. But everyone's going to have these minute little details in the way that they drive and the way that they pick up pace around the lap that will affect over the course of a stint the way that the tires wear.
And indeed, fuel wear as well, but fuel is not going to be such an issue here because these cars have massive tanks anyway. In fact, some of the cars have 120 liters compared to when we drive prototypes, it's about 75 liters, so they can fuel save a bit and have a bit for fuel to spare.
Yeah, and that provides them with the opportunity then to take a slightly shorter pit stop, and you know, if they can fuel save, they run a bit less fuel in the car. It means it's lighter. It means it goes slightly faster around the corners. There's a bunch of benefits. It wears the tires less. So, you know, as much as you can go, to use an old aviation term, balls to the wall on your fuel usage on these ones, you really should still try and conserve a little bit because it does mean that you can run less fuel and you get better performance out of the car in total.
Indeed, and especially towards the end where you want to have that pace, you're going to have to use it, especially towards the end of the stint. For example, your in-lap has to be good, isn't it?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
it's very interesting to see what's happening right now, but it looks like Andrew Lawrenson has found his groove. Up ahead, 1 second gap now. Adianza and Bartona are the closest battle on track, but they are teammates, so they're probably going to be talking together, trying to not battle, not losing much time as possible. But it's a bit awkward because Adianza let Martona through because he was faster. Now they kind of switch around, but they're going to lose time swapping cars again. So
yeah.
What do you do?
And also the fact that you have to remember the number 10 car is fighting for the championship.
Yes.
So he doesn't want to actually risk jeopardizing that one. But take nothing away from the number 13, which used to be the number 311. They are also in it as well for the championship. They are not that far away either. So it's a tightrope, isn't it? You don't want to upset anybody in that team right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be interesting to see if Martona stays in for next stint or they chuck his teammate back in, or if Adianza will have to swap, won't he, because it's half and half.
Yeah.
So we know Leaf will be swapping next to Tusby, who's ready. I wonder if his foot's still shaking from nerves, but yeah, Andrew O'Hara will also have to go to another stint as well. But lap time wise, kind of stabilised up front. They're still doing mid 35s compared to the rest of the field who's doing 36s, 37s. Apart from James Pierre Reid in 8th place, who's still going a little bit fast, but these top four are pulled away. There's like a 26, 27 second gap to Kusum in 5th place. So the pro drivers pulling away from the Pro-Am.
Yep, showing the class of the field. And in fact, that right now, Fahad is... they're speaking in... there's a case in point about Pro and Pro-Ams coming together right now. That was nearly close there from the number 59 of Brandon Chung. And someone was asking just in the comment section, what does the colors mean? So white is Pro, black is Pro-Am, and then red in this case is GT4 is Am. But we have that one car silver. It's actually the Silver Cup cars, but they're not part of this. They're not supposed to be part of this particular race because it's supposed to be black, red, or white. But unfortunately, the game did not pick up on that, so he's colored silver. But in actuality,
he just wanted to be a different color.
Yeah, he just wants to stand up on the ground.
Class.
Yeah, so I guess so he can jump on the podium by himself and carry the trophy. But number 59, if anyone's asking, that's silver. But in actuality, he is in Pro-Am. So let's just get that confusion out of the way. And other news that came in from the comment section, Calix Poon says that Car 70 didn't have any drivers available to drive, so they had to skip out for this round. Unfortunately, they're not reusing some of the resources to put the cars in number 71 or 69 into that particular car. So it's quite unfortunate that the championship leading number 70 in Pro-Am is not here in this race, so they can use this as a drop round.
Yeah, lucky there is the drop round, of course. That is one of the unique features of the eRGP. You do get that drop round where, you have those instances where sometimes there could be a tech issue or you might not have your drivers available. You do have that one round to drop, and your best 5 rounds are taken into account.
So, question to you both then again. Would you prefer to have a championship with drop rounds or 9?
In my experience with eRGP, I've always preferred having that drop round. I remember once I had a technical issue, got a donut, and I was leading for the last lap, I disconnected, got a donut. And so I was really glad we had one in that instance there. But yes, because sometimes anything can happen in endurance racing, and it does take your best rounds into account. So yeah, I kind of like the drop round, I can't lie. What about you, Keen?
See, I'm going to take a opposite stance here. I think in certain series, drop rounds work brilliantly because they, you might not always get people that are in positions to commit to racing every week or week in, week out in a series. That being said, I think in the kind of top tier series, I think there shouldn't really be any drop rounds because, when you get to those point where people are paying you to, I mean, obviously not quite the case for a lot of these drivers here, but when people are paying you to show up to these races and that kind of stuff, I feel like, you want every result to count. And even if you don't make the most of a single round, that's where it comes in with drivers that are at that top level. You're nip and tuck, you're fighting for every last scrap. So having a drop round, I don't know, it's not the worst thing in the world, but I tend to prefer to just have every point count.
It also does add to that strategy though as well, you've got to keep in mind, because in eRGP, one of the other unique things is the success ballast. And we've seen this happen before. We've had a couple of instances in the past with the ballast where people use their drop round and then get no ballast for the next round and can send it. I know I've done that.
Yes, I'm looking at Josh right now and thought, oh wow, okay, that is something that was way too personal. The experience, isn't it, that you have from that. So yes, you can actually use that to your advantage if certain championships don't have that kind of ballast towards the last round, like Super GT for example.
Yeah.
They put the ballast for the entire season, but for the last round, they go all out for the championship.
Yeah, if you have enough stable, rounds where you get a solid group of points, drop round, no success ballast for the next round. You can send it.
Yeah, lick the stem and send it completely. So, yeah, go full send. That's what everyone wants. But at this moment in time, they're not thinking about the drop rounds, are they? They're thinking about trying to build up that championship advantage. And we're almost about 20 minutes to exactly the halfway point of the season. 2 hours in, exactly in the middle point of the season. They might be thinking about that later on, but at the moment, at least, the way that race is going, a lot of people might be thinking about just points right now.
You don't start thinking about the drop round until the second last round. You don't. 3 rounds in, you've got to be getting as much points as possible because you don't know what's going to happen in the 4th round. You don't know what's going to happen in the 5th round. So that's definitely, it's a unique strategy feature because drivers can try and use it to their advantage as well as it also being a tool that can be used to assist if you've got a tech issue or something like that. So sometimes it has to be used, but sometimes you've got that luxury where you can try a little bit of strategy with it. So, but of course, as you said, right now they're not thinking about it. 3rd race in, got to get the points.
Yep. And speaking of the ballast as well, you mentioned about just now. You have to remember, coming into this round, the top 10 in the previous race get the ballast on top of the BOP that they have. So if we press the tab button right now, you can see, oh, hang on. We see right now, like here, for example, there's the handicap that they get on the side. So 21 kilos, that's on top of the ballast that the Ferrari had prior to this. So I think Alif and his crew had about 9 kilos, not mistaken. So there you go. That it actually snowballs together. So it's impressive to see how in qualifying that some of these guys could do almost close to actual fast lap times like 32s, even though they're carrying basically bags of sand.
Yeah, of course. And you've got to think as well, like, for example, teams that are a bit further behind in the championship standings that haven't had a good run, they might want to be using one of their earlier rounds of the drop round. Such as, for example, you look at the BMW, or not the BMW, like the Ferrari in 3rd place, Laundry House even. So they definitely want to be using those drop rounds that they've had in previous rounds, or use the results from their previous rounds, if that makes sense.
Yes. I mean, in essence, if you had that kind of bad round, you can just drop it. And Kian, we all know that full well from watching ERGP, the global editions, how some of that plays into drivers' hands, especially in the last round of the season.
Yeah, we've seen some great opportunities there with the success ballast, taking advantage, as Josh was saying, just getting around and doing that kind of stuff, But it all comes down to that bit of strategy. And for me, I tend to, I would get a bit antsy if I did something like that, just around to get 0 success ballast for the next one. Because, all it takes is one disconnect in that last round. And then that is the round that you wish you would have used as a drop round, So it plays in a strategy very well, but you always have to play it a little bit cautious, in my opinion.
That's the play that the psychological thing is, because you know full well that you just had one bad round, and does that play into your mind coming to the next race? That really affects you, and if you have another one, that's it. Your confidence is shattered.
Yeah,
Yeah, you kind of...
I'll let you go, Sam.
Come on, Josh.
You go. No, you can go.
Okay. After you. Okay. Yeah. So yeah, it does play into your confidence because so many times you see drivers with such great ability and such great pace. They come into races coming off of a bad race, and that second race coming off of that one is super important because if they manage to get a good race under the belt, they're fine. They're perfect. Their confidence restored. But if they end in a situation where, again, they have some sort of issue, be it a disconnect or be it a spin or something like that, just something that compromises their ability to win that race, it can send them into a death spiral. And we've seen that a couple of times in real life motorsport categories. We've seen that in sim racing. So sometimes that drop round can come into play to just take a week to reset, but then you're really under the pump.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And to put it in the football perspective, like you have games in hand. You know that you can win them, but once you start losing a couple of them, you kind of feel like the momentum's lost from that, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. It's always quite interesting to see how that plays out. Throughout the seasons of Global Edition and Endurance Edition, we haven't seen the success ballast be used kind of that way too much. The Season 5 was the only time I've really seen it used more so strategically. But it does give you that bit of... I do like the fact that if you do have a bad round, you've also got that confidence knowing next round, okay, I've got no ballast for next round, I can resend it. So that's always good, like if there's a tech issue or something like that. Like I remember once I disconnected, got a donut for that round, and then the next round after I had no success ballast, so I got to have a good time. So it's part and parcel, so it's a good extra strategy feature, and it does affect this race. Like, Alif has got 9 extra kilos of ballast than Lawrenson. Could he be ahead without that success ballast?
Yeah, that's an interesting one, isn't it? Could have been, but unfortunately because he had a good result last time out, it adds on to the BOP that he had, so there's that.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting to see how this is playing out now. 6/10, the gap between these guys. We're on board with Alif right now, as he just can't get past Lawrenson. He got close for the start of this stint. Lawrenson kind of pulled away. Now he's pulled that back a bit now, 4/10. If you look at the lap times there, they are kind of going similar. Presley, he was fast at the start of the stint, going a bit slower now. So we'll have to wait and see. What do you think here?
Yeah, it's down again. Once again, it's an Elise court. The ball is that was a bit of a kerfuffled sentence as Lawrenson. He is that car up ahead. He has the high ground, so to speak, and he is going to be the one who's able to make those defensive calls. Elif has to try and sort some pressure on him now. I think he needs to send his nose up a little bit. Maybe not for the full move, but just start showing Lawrenson that I am here. I am to be feared. I will make a move if you give me the opportunity. So it is down now to Elif to try and make something happen and make sure he doesn't lose too much time to Martano, but he does have that nice little buffer behind, so he can really try and make a move if it comes down to it.
And he is trying to, actually, about 0.3 of a second last time out when he broke through the scepter beam. Now it's 5/10, so Lawrenson gained a bit of time there. It's just ebbing and flowing, isn't it? At one point, we thought that Lawrenson might have had the gap advantage at that point. It was 1 second, but now it's back to under a second. So I leave then, still applying the pressure, but both of them are not faltering at any one point.
Yeah, it's definitely been super interesting. When you look at this now, we were just saying that Leaf is, he's lost ground and stuff. He's just pulled it back. So very, very interesting to see. And of course, we've got 13 minutes until we kind of get back to that pit stop phase again. So last time out, Andrew O'Hara stayed out for a little bit longer than expected. whereas I believe Leaf pitted at the hour mark, I believe. He was the first to enter from the pro category as well. So, and the other thing as well to note is Presley Martono, he got that gap down just to 4 seconds. It's now back up to 5.3. So it does look like it might be a bit of a 2-horse race for this win, but we are going to have driver swap soon. Tusby is going to be getting in. We're going to have Andrew O'Hara back in the car at some point during this race.
And Russell Reyes.
And Russell Reyes as well, yes. And we're going to get Duff and Nabil in as well for Adianza as well. So definitely all to play for, but it's definitely between these 4 guys.
Indeed. In fact, about 7 seconds, if we can round it off, between the top 4 at the moment. So still, again, all to play for. We don't have any... We can't call anybody as the winner right now. In fact, even in Pro-Am, we still cannot call the winner because Chris Sung, yes, he may have been driving for a long time in that number 69 car, but he has to give to his co-driver, who will be coming in pretty soon. Plus, Alexis Calpano will be back in that number 31 car to challenge for the win as well. So really then, it's too close to call here between these two classes. And let's not forget, the third class in this race, the Am category between Lance Padilla and Joey Gutierrez, number 28 and 77.7. That's another battle to look out for. They've been together throughout this entire race.
Yeah, the Pro-Am class is always an interesting one because you've got a Pro driver and an Am driver. So in terms of strategy, that also makes it, it's a challenge to kind of work around. So what they've done in this category, because Calpano was stuck behind some, they've put in Alan to get him a stint out of the way now, and then Calpano should be able to full push when it's his turn for the car.
And also the fact that, remember, they want to split driving duties because Alan basically is a kid with so much potential behind that wheel. So they gotta have to let him get a lot of seat time. So I think they might put Calpano in because he looks so comfortable with the car right now. He is fast, but it's just unfortunate that he just couldn't get by it right now. As we look at the picture of Aldo Balagulan, that is one scuffed up front bumper here. It looks a bit raised. So I think he might have had a bit of an incident behind another car.
Yeah, it does look like that. Driving currently in 5th place in the Pro-Am category, 14th overall. So, the Pro-Am drivers are getting among the Pro drivers here. It just looks like Chris Sung is overtaking a GT4 there. The GT4 battle kind of seems to have stabilized just a little bit here. As we go back on board here, that's Alex Chia in the GT3 category, lapping around. And it does look like it has stabilized a little bit. The gap between 3rd and 4th has also gone out a little bit as well. So, GT4s are just driving around a little bit now, but there should be some action later on.
And I did say just now car 28 and 777. Actually, that's my mistake. It's 557 that was actually behind. It was between the 2 Astons. So something happened to the Rising Line car that has dropped it out of the podium. Right at the back of the entire field and in his class as well. So Nazir Asman having taken over from Muhammad Zikri. He's about 4 seconds behind Muiz Omirali, but that is going to be a battle that he has to really watch out for because he's got 3rd place in class in mind, but also the GT3 cars coming by him. So he doesn't want to risk another accident that might really jeopardize his entire race.
Yeah, but of course, even though it's 4th place, you still get a good amount of points in the championship. So every point counts. They're here, they're driving. So yeah, still that's some good points with him in the championship. As you can see him driving right there as well on camera now. And yeah, 2 hours, 10 minutes to go in this race. Still all to play for.
Indeed, all to play for in all 3 classes. We're almost about 10 minutes away from the exact halfway point of the season. If you want to consider 3 out of 6, nah, that's not halfway. We have to be literally in the race. 2 hours out of the 4. That's the exact halfway point of the race of the season. Now then.
So it looks like there's been an overtake.
Yeah, in fact, Presley. Yeah, Adianza has overtaken Presley, and Presley has fallen 1.2 seconds behind. I think it might have been just a clear maneuver. So we kind of missed that, unfortunately, but it looks as though no incidents happened between them. So, Daf Adianza now has the license to attack the 2 drivers are in front of him and for the overall win.
Yes, and this is the battle now for the lead with Alif Hamilton versus Andrew Lawrenson. It's kind of been brewing all stint. It kind of gets interesting. Then Andrew pulls a bit of a gap. Alif pulls the gap in. Can't overtake. Gap pulls out again. But yeah, I think all Alif needs to do, get lucky with one GT4, make the dive bomb, and he's got the through.
In this case, he's got a GT3 in front. That's Chu Yanming, who's actually racing here right now, where we are commentating. So we can actually get him on board and have his thoughts about it. But we gotta get him here right now as Alif then hounding the back of Lawrenson. Lawrenson, where's he gonna overtake that GT3? Oh, he nearly loses it. Gets a bit crossed up there and manages to keep it together. Now they're gonna overtake the GT3 car. And luckily, Yan Ming's out of the way. Oh!
Well, that was a bit dramatic there. That could have been very hairy for a leaf there at the end, but luckily he got through that unscathed. Didn't even like flinch or react to that. He just stayed calm. I'd be like throwing up my hands, like, what are you doing? Kind of thing. But yeah, laser focus as he chases Andrew Lawrence.
Never missing a beat. Now then, and again, I think we might have had a few of those last year when we were racing in another Indonesian in a endurance league. We had to overtake so many GT cars. It actually, some of them became quite hairy.
Yeah, it comes all down to just being a bit forceful. But it's obviously a different situation here because you have that was a Pro-Am car, which means that it is a GT3, which means the blue flag, which means that they should have to move out the way off the line. That being said, the GT4 cars have no such prerogative. They can maintain their racing line, and it's up to the faster car in order to find a safe way around. So there are two different ways that these drivers have to deal with back markers here today, and one of them just kind of almost did not work there out for a leaf.
Yeah, that nearly turned into absolute disaster then. That would have actually literally ended any chance of catching up back to Lawrenson afterwards. And Lawrenson then, well, he is actually set against the ropes here. We thought for a second that he might have taken a bit of beating, but he's kind of like Rocky Balboa, isn't it? He's come up fighting and still holding on to it.
Yes.
Does that make a leaf Apollo Creed or Mr. T?
Can we get he's not wearing jewelry, so he's not like Lewis Hamilton literally wearing jewelry, so he's not Mr. T.
Alright, so we'll call him Apollo Creed,
Yeah.
the man with the striped pants. As he's coming through that left-hander there, I dropped something on my floor, and we have a laundry house there. Still 3 tenths ahead. Andrew Lawrenson doing a good job there with his right foot braking, stealing the show a little bit there with that dual camera as well. And he is wearing VR. Josh, I'd love to get your opinion on this. VR in sim racing. What are your thoughts?
It's impressive his pace with the VR because some people find it a bit of a distraction when they're using the VR. It is really cool because it does make it a lot more realistic as well, but some people do find like they'd rather just look straight at the screen, whereas Andrew's going to be going all the way around, looking up, down, left, right. So it is very impressive when you see a driver who's able to do his pace with the VR. So it is very impressive, the pace that he's doing.
And it seems as though it's not really affected by any sort of fogging that comes onto the screen, yeah. And also the fact that it does get hot, doesn't it, wearing a VR set?
It does as well. Luckily it's cold in Australia right now. It'll be fine.
As Kian said at the top of the program, a very cold day over in Perth.
Oh, nice. It's a warm day over in Kuala Lumpur, so that's nice.
Yeah, it's
everywhere in Australia is freezing right now, so Perth's not that bad. Stop complaining, Kian. A leaf still just behind Andrew Lawrenson. I think we're going to have to wait for the pit stops for a little bit of action between these guys, which isn't that far away. We've got 5 minutes and 40 seconds before we hit the hour mark, which is generally when the pit stops occur, as we saw last time. Maybe the laundry house car might stretch it out a little bit and then go for that faster stint at the end. But the other thing as well, Adianza hasn't really been able to pull away from Presley, but they're losing ground to the 2 leaders, so it's becoming a bit of a 2-horse race here.
Yep. Oh, just now it was about 7 seconds between Alif and Adianza. Now he's clawed it back about 3 tenths. But yeah, we can safely say at the present moment, it is a 2-horse race at the front. Presently. We just hope it'll be a 4-way battle because it is what we want to see. A battle between top drivers fighting it out for glory here in a 4-hour race around Misano. And that will definitely live up to the name of Marco Simoncelli. The late Marco Simoncelli, who was always a fighter whenever he rode, and such a hero to MotoGP, who we sadly lost so early, almost over 10 years ago now.
Now, the one thing I have just noticed when I look at the lap times, Alan Drake Cruz, 1:53.8 was his last time round before that 37.4, which he's just done. So
53.
Potentially a bit of a mistake there from him. He does look like he's a bit far back, 14 seconds to Farhad, then a little bit further back down to James Pierre Reid.
Oh,
so
he actually lost position to Reid.
So he's lost a lot of ground with that 53 lap time. I'm not sure what happened there, but that has opened the door for some to kind of have that lead before they get the other driver in. So it looks like Duffer is going to be the first to blink. 2 minutes and 4 to go. He'll be pitting in and potentially changing driver as well. Otherwise, they will be struggling to make that maximum driver time.
Yeah, but in fact, that the maximum driver time right now, it is about 2 hours 15. So, or 2 hours 30. So they have plenty of leg room to actually do that. But for this particular crew, They want to actually get their second driver in immediately. As look at that, they dropped the car so quickly. That is not a tire stop that is being done at the moment, I think. Or is it? Yeah, it's probably done in. But look at how dirty the car is. It's only 2 hours in, and there's a lot of grime on that car.
Yeah, gotta push. Gotta you know, lot of action that's happened. Especially that car's been. Actually, no, that was the car that got away scot-free.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
Oop.
That looks like it's a bit of an opportunity for a Leaf there. That car just
Sister car.
yeah, just trying to get out the way. But yeah, wonder if it's going to hold up a Leaf a little bit here. Of course, team tactics are not on. But yes, that is very good. It got out the way easy for a Leaf there. So yeah, nearly time for the pit stops for these two fellas.
Yep.
We're doing it. I know. Well, we know at least a Leaf will be doing a driver swap. Whether Andrew stays in the car or they put in Andrew, they're both Andrew.
They're both Andrews, yeah.
Andrew, yeah. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see for that. But yeah, stabilized right now. They're doing 36s. No one in the field's really hitting the 35s apart from Ruben and Ranto. But the rest of them just slowly creeping through the field. These guys are in 35s.
Yep, and it looks like the tires are giving up the ghost slightly. We're coming out to the end of the stint now, up to the second hour, and with about 2.5 minutes time, we are exactly through the halfway point of the season of this enthralling championship battle between the guys in front. And indeed, this championship battle is being played on the race as Lawrenson then runs a bit wide coming out of turn 5. This might be an opportunity for Olive to overtake him. This is the closest as he's been for the last half an hour, and again Lawrenson holds on to it.
Yes, but we are getting to that spicy bit here. This is where all the drama happens. Let's go far chase. Let's see the racing lines that they take. Because last time we did this, we saw that Andrew was a little bit slower in this part of the track here, but a Leaf can't overtake. There's not really an overtake. So he just has to kind of hang back. But 8 seconds now to Presley. So these two are kind of just pulled away.
A league of their own right now. In fact, Presley is, 8 seconds behind. That's a lot of time he's lost in the second half of the stint. As again, Ali gets a good exit coming out of turn 10. No way through just yet again. Lawrenson is actually quite brave on the brakes to hold on to it and hangs a very tight line to prevent Ali from getting any sort of overtaking done on him.
Yes, will he duck into the pits, will he? No, he won't. Now, I did see a Leaf doing a lot of pit lane practice during this, and he did look like he caught up to Andrew a little bit in the first pit stop phase. So what I'm interested to see is maybe he can gain that time practicing with that pit entry, because I saw he did like 3 or 4 of them. He banged more than one. But, that might potentially be a deciding factor in this. Because of course you can spend all that time you want on track, but you've also got to be able to try and not lose that time in the pit lane. The pit exit, pit entry are super important, and also making sure we break the exact spot in the pit lane as well. Otherwise you can lose some time as well, readjusting.
And unfortunately we can't do the same tactic like in iRacing, how Max Beneke showed it, where you can gain about 2.5 seconds from the pit lane alone. That kind of tactic is
that one,
It's not frowned upon per se, but it has been policed now in most leagues, I believe, because you have to put on the pit limiter regardless. And the fact that in ACC, if you put the car in second gear, your limiter's off.
Yeah, this could be where the action happens. They're going to be stuck behind some GT traffic heading through here. GT4. It looks like there's a bit of a battle actually here for the racing line car, and I can't see which other car that is.
That's actually the Circle car.
Now, will Andrew be able to clear them before this point here? No, he won't. Is this the chance for a Leaf? He's got the speed advantage.
Still a long way to go.
Is he going to go for it? Oh, no. He's just a little bit too far behind, unfortunately for him. As we go back down to the broadcast view. Will the Leaf duck into the pits here?
Yeah, Kieran, you reckon?
One of them are going to duck in the pits, surely, and it's going to be a Leaf. Yeah.
Bang on cue.
He comes into the pits, and Hasby, that looks like will probably be jumping in the car there. That's going to be the undercut opportunity here. Lawrenson then will be trying to do a blistering in-lap here. It'll come down to how quickly Fasby can get acclimatized to the car, but we drop back further to that Pro-Am, that Am battle rather. Zia Asman on the tail now at the 242.
And this is a battle for third place, and look at how many positions they lost. 3 positions. They were up to second at one point. Now Nazir tries to go on the inside of Muiz Omerali. Does he make the move stick? They're going side by side, and he does make it. Or does he? He's still ahead, and yes, should be by this time. Nazir makes the move stick, and the car is back up into the podium positions.
Nice overtake, very well done. So, let's have a look on board here. We are on board with a leaf. He's not out the car yet, but he should be getting out the car soon. If he wants to beat the minimum driver time. His car's going to teleport 2 meters to the other sim room, rig in that room, and Tusby's going to hop in.
And there we go, bang on cue. He's right in the pits. And of course, the number 10 as well is also in the pits for Matono. Is he going to switch back to Russell Reyes, or is Matono just going to stick in there? No, it's still Matono. And in fact, look at that.
Yeah. I think it's just the pit limiter, I think, potentially. But they do look quite close to each other. You are right. I'll have to see what happens here.
It was 9 seconds last time out, as you can see there, 9.1 seconds when he entered the pit lane. We'll wait until they break the first sector timing beam of how much time did either of them gain or lost while in the pit lane. And it looks as though, we saw a laundry house colored car there, but that's actually the number 2, the Audi, the sister car to the race leading car right now, which is a Ferrari. And across the first sector timing beam, how much time did either of these guys gain or lost? It's 7 seconds, and his Reyes is actually back in the car. So 7.3, and it looks like my hunch was right. The number 10 is getting closer to the number 111.
Yes, it is getting very interesting seeing what's happening here. Reyes has got a bit of traffic though, he's got to navigate as Andrew Lawrenson pits now. I reckon Andrew's going to be in the car when we get out of this, whether it's O'Hara or Lawrenson, who knows?
Yep.
But there will be an Andrew in this car as we exit. Just which one? Who do we reckon?
Yeah, key in first. Who do we reckon?
I'm going to say Lawrenson. I think it makes more sense to keep Lawrenson in for the time being. Keep up the defensive work he's been doing, because he's been doing a great job throughout the stint to defend against that Stratos Flash car. And then that leaves one more stint at the end for Andrew to get in, the other Andrew, O'Hara. But it is O'Hara jumping in now.
Oh.
So there you go. That's what I know.
Well, we can't all be oracles, obviously, so we can try to do the best work as we can to guess how this happens. And it's O'Hara who actually was lightning quick in that first stint to get the car back up to the front before the first pit stop. Now he's back in the car, but will he still be ahead of the number 111 as he comes out of the pits now? And it's the number 1 who's going to get overtaken here. They're going to go side by side. It's going to be very close on the pit exit. It is the number 1 who still holds on, but just about to hold on to the lead of this race.
Tusby's got those warm tyres though. Let's see what happens here. And yeah, both of them, just hopped in the car as well. So, O'Hara's got to get up to pace again. When you hop into a car for the first time, it does take that little bit of time just to get readjusted again. But is Tusby ready? Tusby is going to try and go around the outside here. I don't know if he's going to be able to make that stick. He might try and go for the switchback, however. But he's stuck just behind O'Hara here. But he needs to make that move soon, because as we saw in that first stint, O'Hara is very fast.
Oh, yes. And it takes a while for the car to actually get up to temperature, maybe about a lap to get the tires in. But he's about halfway through the lap right now. He should be able to get a bit of temperature here to get attack. Oh, look at that.
That's not the racing line.
That's ultra defensive there from O'Hara. And Tusby knows full well that he's got the run on him. That was a good exit out of turn 10 here. Will he try to make it around the outside, coming out of turn 13? Or tell you what, he was trying on it, but O'Hara actually has the line on him, and now he defends his position.
Oh, there it is. He's gone a little bit wide, though. Oh, very, very close. Almost chopped the front of Tusby's car, though. But his tires should be up to temperature now here, so he's got maybe a little bit more breathing room than what he had a couple sectors ago. But yes, very, very close here. Very, very intriguing battle here.
Indeed. And for the laundry house guys, they will definitely be feeling a bit esurient after what happened in the first 2 rounds of the season, where they could have had potential wins, but penalties and incidents have taken them out of the equation on those races. Now they're in it as, Tusby there going crisscross. This is the battle for the race lead right now, as we are now well and truly into the second half of the season here in round 3 of eRGP Endurance Edition for 2022. And we couldn't have asked for a better race right now. It has been absolutely close from all 3 classes so far.
As you said, we're starting off the second half of the season with a bang. Second half of the season now has started. 1 hour and 54 minutes left to go in the 3rd round of this season. Tusby, championship leader as well, just behind O'Hara. Now, Gafor is in the lead right now, but he hasn't pitted yet. So, for those who are just tuning in, the net leader is Andrew O'Hara. We've got Russell Reyes behind 6.6 seconds. Now, Duff and Nabil has lost a little bit of time. It's now down to 4.2. And then they've got a huge gap behind to Wong, who has just hopped in the car, and they've chucked out Alan Drake Cruz, and they've put in Flopano.
So I think Drake Cruz, Alan may not be too disheartened by that. He at least kept the car going in the right direction and still in second place in their class, so they will get some good points still. And by right, they'll be leading the championship because car 70 wasn't in this race. So all is not lost. It's just that they couldn't match the pace that the number 69 was actually showing. Nice.
Yeah, so Tusby looks like he's losing a little bit of ground to O'Hara. It looks like O'Hara might have a small edge right now. But yeah, Russell Reyes, it's the same as what happened last stint actually. You know, like Reyes had the speed.
At the start.
Martono, sorry.
Yeah.
Both of them. They both had the speed of the stint. Caught up and then they might lose the time again. In fact, the other JMX Phantom car did the same as well. So maybe not looking after their tyres as much and just going ham.
Yeah. But they're going full pelt here. That they have every right to because they want to make out the last time after the rather disastrous start for them because they really got shafted in that opening.
Yeah.
the number one made about the start, but the car that really got shafted was number 10. So they have a lot of time to make up, and they're still making up the time here, albeit about 6.5 seconds at the moment.
But yeah, that gap is slowly creeping out a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in that last stint. See how much of a gap O'Hara can pull now. Because last stint he wasn't leading much of it. He got chucked down to 6th or 7th, had to make his way back through. Doesn't have many people to overtake now. Can just go push.
Yep. And well, he really had to fight with those guys because the midfield in that top 10 get absolutely crazy. As there's the bus coming out of the pit lane of its station, and in front of Ali Karudin, who was winner-elect to say the least last time in Kyalami. Now he's gonna have to settle for another top 5, but he would have really wished that he could have broken the duck to get a win last time out.
Yeah, so the race is kind of neutralized a little bit now, but we are going to get that action a little bit more further on.
So,
yeah. Kian, what are your thoughts?
It's been interesting so far. It seems like O'Hara once again has picked up right where he's left off and managed to be the pace setter out here so far. Fazbe's doing a good job of holding onto him though a little bit. The two cars from JMX Phantom have sort of found themselves in their own little no man's land, you know, just got themselves to worry about for now. A little bit further down the field, let's see what we have going on. We have now, of course, Glapano, who had a really strong first stint against that 69. He is going to be trying to find his way up to John Wong in that 69 again.
oh,
What?
what's going on there?
It looks like he's just disconnected.
Clapano has actually disconnected. Yep, we can see that in our timing screen. He has actually dropped behind a bit. But where is the car now? Because we saw that tracker go away for a second.
It's on the way to Australia.
he went out to see his people. He went to fly away to see his people there. Where is number 31? We need to...
It's going back to South Africa.
Going back to literally see... Where is he? Nope, nowhere to be seen. So the number 31 car battling for second in Pro-Am is now gone from our screens. Looks like a disconnection issue that may have been on Calpano's part because Alan Drake Cruz, despite being in Norway right now, actually was pretty much okay throughout the entire race. So I think Calpano, for just a brief moment, had some packet loss, and that's it. The car's gone. So we don't see it at the moment. On our screens, it's shown as 10th place, and it's dropping even further at the moment. So there we go, in the pit lane. Yeah, he's in the pit lane.
Soul Lamborghini.
Damn. It's going to be so unfortunate for Kibano because he was starting to grill back in a little bit that first place in Pro-Am. But now, obviously, we have that battle between Yang Ming and Waranto that will be fighting it out for third place, potentially. Bernard Chen has been making a recovery drive in that Axel car, and he's been doing a decent job. We move forward now to Carradine, who is behind Wong.
Jackie Wong.
He will be he'll be doing his best to try and move forward. He's doing a decent job. Top 5, as you said, Ammo. Top 5.
Yep, top 5 in his class, and we'll get points for his class. But again, they will still be feeling a bit miffed after what happened last time in Kailami that they could have gotten a win. But unfortunately, getting involved in an incident with the Legion of Racers car of Anikara Mamalana paid to that particular effort. So they're gonna get solid points again, but they're gonna be wishing when are they gonna break this duck as we're looking at Kairudin, who's in front of the bus right now. He's ahead of the bus.
Yeah, he's going for his corners. He's doing his thing. You know, that bus. Ivan Anadas now is in that number 60, number 49. Sorry, not number 60, number 49. Yeah, the Kuala Lumpur rapid delivery system, as it were. And he is, he's doing an alright job. He's kind of just, making sure the car gets to the finish at this point, isn't he?
Yep. And so...
Got another drive-through.
How many drive-throughs has that particular crew gotten? In fact, we're looking at it right now. 5, actually. He's shown us 5 drive-throughs, and all of them were because of corner cuts.
Ugh. That's got to be, at least they're making regular stops, regular service.
Regular stops at the station, yes.
Not the express.
Anyway, so as I was about to allude to, before we go into a commercial break, Josh, can you run through all the, I guess, top 3 in each class, and then we go into a commercial break?
Cool, okay, so top 3 in the pro class. As you can see, the top 2 right there, O'Hara and Tusby. A little bit further back in that frame, there was Russell Reyes in the JMX Phantom car, who's in 3rd. So championship lead, Bad Fighters, 2nd and 3rd right now in this race. Laundry House looking to get some good points. Looking back to the Pro-Am class, we've got Jackie Wong, who is leading right now. After Klapano's disconnect, we've got Yang Ming and Wiranto, who are 9th and 10th right now overall, who are leading that class. Back to the GT4 class, we've got Joshua, who is still leading that way. Now, Nazir Azman's made a bit of a comeback, and is in 2nd, and then we've got Omar Ali in 3rd. But yes, we will head to an ad break now.
Okay, so we will not be going for the ad break, unfortunately. So we've summarized the entire field, so we'll go for the ad break after this. But for now, then, we can go back up to the battle for the lead, and it looks as though O'Hara still manages to hold on to that by just about 5 times a second. It's like seeing deja vu, isn't it? That it's always, whenever that we're seeing the lead up to the front, it's always these two. Normally it's always 3, of course, because of Harry Potter reference, but it's always these two. Yeah, for the moment at least. It's just a case of deja vu. It's a pale blue car in front of a very light green car up in front.
Deja vu? I've been in this place before, riding on the streets, and I know it's my time to go calling you. As we come through that left-hander, we got 4 1s up the front. 5 if you technically count half of Russell Reyes. It's a lot of number 1s. Call it a bit of an ego. So many number 1. Thasby thinks he's 3 times better than O'Hara. That's why he's got three 1s rather than O'Hara's single one. Reyes is technically number 2 in binary, so I mean, bit of nerd stuff going on there. So he's obviously going to want to come for Thasby there. But Ferrari 1, 2, 3, and I don't see another single Ferrari on the standings anywhere. So that's showing that the Ferrari has been a really strong car this weekend for these top teams to be taking.
That's the only 3 Ferraris that we have in this race, and they're all up in front. Now then, we are ready to go to commercial break. We'll be right back after the word from our sponsors.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. computer is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
That was Mozart.
My name is Afiq, this is Josh Pervian, all the way from Perth, Australia, and I just finished my stint. And welcome back to the ERGP Endurance Edition Round 3 in Misano.
So, how would you describe your stint?
How many drive-thrus did I had? I had 1, 2, 3. I've lost count. I think I had 4 drive-thrus in a span of an hour. So it's very good. Could have been worse though, but nevertheless, this is the bus that my teammate Ivan Anastas is currently driving, and I think I know why I've been getting a lot of drive-thrus.
Why?
It's because, like what Kay mentioned just now, we're driving with the bus, so we need to make visits to the pit stop.
Yeah, of course. But you're not picking up any people. There's the pits. It seems to be a bit quiet.
Yeah, it seems to be a bit quiet.
Not much customers on the bus today.
Yeah, a little bit unfortunate, but you know, that's the way it works in the world now.
Yeah.
Nevertheless, race leader Andrew O'Hara still leading with a gap of 2.5 seconds. It was what, 0.6 before we went for the commercial break?
Yeah, he's built up a bit of a gap now. His pace looks to be electrifying. 4/10 ahead of Tasby that lap. But yeah, as we saw in that first stint, O'Hara just has a little bit more pace, it seems, than most of the field. So what O'Hara's going to do, pull as much of a gap as he can. Because what happened last time around, if you missed the start, O'Hara had the incident at the start, got down to 6, got back the lead. Then after that, they had put Lawrence in the car. I think Lawrence took a couple of laps just to get up to the group, which allowed Leaf to catch up. But then Leaf just couldn't get past because it seemed like Leaf was faster in the parts where he couldn't overtake and then slower in the parts where he could. So it it was kind of just a bit of a losing game in terms of trying to overtake him. But yeah, Tusby now 3 seconds behind. It just looks like O'Hara's got a 4/5/10 advantage a lap. And if he can keep that up for the next 35 minutes, it might be game, set, and match for that final hour when they put Lawrence back in.
It does look like it's going to be game, set, and match. There's 38 minutes, 39 minutes remaining on the clock before the hour mark comes. The final hour mark comes in this 4-hour endurance race, and by the looks of it, Andy O'Hara is pulling away from Muhammad Tasbi. Now the gap was 3 seconds before when Tasbi crossed it. The gap is now up to 3.3 seconds. So Andy O'Hara is making progress, but by how much we're gonna have to wait and see until the end. Meanwhile, Kyan, you still there? Looks like Kyan's on the commercial break.
Indeed,
himself.
I am.
Oh, I thought you were on a commercial break.
I'm always on commercial break, you know, thinking of good things to say, good things to do. But yeah, no, it's been interesting, hasn't it, so far?
Yeah, he's on Australian, so he's still on a commercial break. but yeah, it has been quite a good race so far. It's been very entertaining from start until now, and it's kind of gotten to the point where it's kind of stabilized, but it's only been for like a brief couple of moments, and then it just gets all dramatic again because something happens. But looking at the top three have broken away, Duff and Nabil doesn't seem to be able to replicate the pace that Adiansa was able to do. But yeah, they do seem to put away. Jackie Wong seems to be the clear leader right now in the Pro-Am class unless something dramatic happens. Unfortunately, due to Calpano's disconnect, which kind of ruined that battle a little bit. And then after those top four, you got a bit of a gap back to Jackie Wong, and then after that, Kai Rudin, who's got a little bit of a further gap from there. So yeah, the other thing that I'm kind of interested in watching is that GT4 battle, because we saw Nazir Azman, who was in 4th place at one point, now back up to 2nd. So he seems to be catching up a little bit, and if you look at the lap times, Nazir and Josh seem to be clear of the rest of the field. But the only thing is, as far as I'm aware, I don't think Josh has done a driver swap yet, because every time I've checked, I've seen his name, so maybe he might have to come in for a driver swap soon.
I reckon he has done a driver swap. So, if I'm not mistaken, Peter Kai or Sergio No was the one who was driving the first hour of the race, and then Sergio No passed the car to Joshua Nabus. So, there has been a driver swap, but I think Joshua Nabus is started driving 2 stints in a row.
Yeah, because I remember I've seen his name for a little bit, but yeah. So we've only got 2 people that have retired from. Well, we've only got 1 retirement. We've got 1 did not start, which was Jason Mock in the Z Challenger car. Our only retirement still is Amo's car, the Blue Steel Racing car, which got disqualified from
driving the wrong way.
Yeah, driving the wrong way. Yeah, getting punted off. So. That was a bit unfortunate, but in terms of incidents and stuff, Bernard Chan, the Academy car, is the only car that kind of really had incident at the start of the race. It lost a few laps, and then after that we got the bus, had a few drive-throughs.
Banana bus.
But yes, back to the leaders now. O'Hara, 4-second gap. This looks like it's continuing to build. O'Hara is just on another level right now to the rest of the field.
Yeah, he's airing out the dirty laundry, isn't he? He's making sure that he goes out, he pulls as much of a gap as he needs to from Fasby, so that when Lawrenson likely will come in for that last stint here in that laundry house car, he's in a position that will allow him to really try and, you know, maximize the chances for the win there, because Fasby will be in to the end of the race. Reyes will probably be supplanted once again by his teammate. And Nabil in that number 13 JMX Phantom car. I can't remember. They did just change drivers, didn't they?
Yeah, JMX, they went Reyes, Martono Reyes, and then they had Adianto in the car, and then they've just put in the bill. But yeah, what's interesting, if you look at the positions right now, so our leaders, both of them are called Andrew. The 2nd place car are brothers, and the 4th place car, they're both called Duffer. So, a lot of similarities between all these teammates. It's only the JMX Phantom car that doesn't have the leading JMX Phantom car that doesn't have something like that. But that's quite interesting though. And then if I believe the Aslans aren't here today, unfortunately, but yeah, they've got that car as well.
Yeah, a little bit of keeping it within the family action, and keeping it with the same name. You know, some people had the same last name, some people the same first name. It seems that they kind of decide one way or another. As we have some M4 GT3s going side by side there. Where would that be? That would be 11th and 12th position, who are on the timing screen separated by 0.003 seconds. So as we jump on board with 12th place now, 11th place, he did manage to make the move happen as he challenger, but that wacko sim racing flip table car is going up that inside. He's trying to make it happen. These two nip and tuck, the 71 and the 969. Yeah, they did just get lapped by Andrew O'Hara. It is now going to be down to them to try and see if they want to hold position this way, or if they're going to open up another bottle of, nitrous, try and pass each other.
Yeah, the lap car, well, that what made that battle interesting is they had to let O'Hara through, of course, so that kind of disturbed their battle a little bit. But yeah, they'll be looking to have another stab at making that overtake now.
As we're on board with 2 BMWs through that left-hander, this is the last part. You have this corner here, Misano, which is the same name as the track. Just to add a little bit of confusion. You're talking about things with the same name. There you go. Yeah, a corner with the same name as the track.
Yeah, let's have a look through this field now, see what's going on. So, in terms of pace for the GT4s, it looks like Joshua Nabas is lapping now about a second or 2 seconds clear of Nazir Azman. So, that battle is kind of depleting a little bit, but potentially might be some action later on, maybe when they change driver. But just having a look through the field now, the BMW, the battle for 10th and for 11th and 12th does look like our closest battle right now. And there looks like identical gaps between first and second and third right now, 4.124. As we've got Ammo back in the commentary with us as well. But yeah, O'Hara pulling that advantage over Tusby now.
Yeah, in fact, that about 4.124 seconds between those two cars. It is amazing, isn't it? That adds up to about 248.
8.248
in total. So, yeah, we love maths, people. So, 4 seconds at the front. It seems as though it's not really changed much because O'Hara just managed to pull the gap away from Tusby, and Tusby has no answer for him.
Yeah, and even so, Reyes is catching up to Tusby as well. So maybe we'll see in the second half of the stint. Maybe Tusby's been saving his tyres a little bit, but I think as we saw last stint, O'Hara has kind of just been on another level this race, I think, compared to the whole field. So it'll be interesting to see what happens once Andrew Lawrenson heads back in. But I think the issue last time, which allowed Alif to catch up, is maybe he just took a few laps to get in the groove. But now that he's done a stint, he might not have that similar issue again. And if so, could be game, set, and match, and a Laundry House win here.
I think the win has been long overdue, despite having the fact that they had to really... I think they might have bogged the start, but he might have been in second gear as opposed to first to get the launch off the line. That's why everyone around him just swamped him.
Yeah, the start was really interesting. And what still confuses me is like the gap that was between the JMX and the Laundry House car. Like maybe potentially what happened is maybe Laundry House was speeding a little bit, had to slow down a kind of bit, but when it's slowing down, that's when it went green. So it had to they had to change foot and floor it. But yeah, just having a look now, we're just on board with Leo Lunk as he gets overtaken by Tusby. But yeah, look at the lap times right now. The only driver in the 34s is Russell.
And it looks as though he is closing up to the back of Tusby. So just now it was about 4.1 seconds. Now it's close to 3.7. So he took about 4/10 of Tusby's lap last time out. But remember, last time out, how Martono, who was so quick out of in open doors to get up to the back of the top two, only to falter towards the end. Would Russell actually risk doing the same thing if he was to push his tires a bit too fast, too early?
It seems to be a bit of a theme with the JMX cars this race. They have a really stonking first 30 minutes, and then they kind of just drop back from Tusby and from the Laundry House and the Stratos cars by the end of it. So hopefully, for entertainment's sake, that doesn't happen this time around because it looks like Russell, and then we saw Presley's pace at the start. Maybe he could catch up to Tusby. We could have a bit of a battle there as well. So fingers crossed we get some battling.
And just like the battle is brewing right now, it's 3.4 seconds from the 3.7 last time out. That's, again, look at the way that Russell actually was fishtailing coming out of the first two corners. He really pushes that car to get it pitched in and just about saves it to actually prevent a spin. So he is on it right now. He is chasing up to the back of Tusby, and there's Tusby in shot. So if he's within the same shot, that means he is closing as Joshua Nabus actually gets out of the way there. The leader in GT4 AM has actually been quite good in terms of giving way to the other drivers. So he's leading the way. He's going to get his first win of the season for that particular crew. But we'll have to mind that later, as now we look at Reyes, how close he is this time around. 3.2 seconds, Kian.
Yeah, 2.3 seconds. Well, 3.2 seconds, rather. Look, he's got the fastest lap of the race so far, and there's been no response from O'Hara or Thasby, so he is reining in that Stratus Flash car so far for that JMX Phantom crew, and this is the car that, as you mentioned earlier in today's broadcast, came into today's race with a 1 point difference to that Stratus car. So it's all to play for here for second position. It's going to come down, I think, to that last half an hour or so and see how the strategy play out.
Indeed. And you just look at the fastest lap time right now. We have the fastest lap on the screen here. 134.435. 134.430 for Reyes. It was 5 thousandths the difference between getting 2 extra points in this race.
And of course, we've got another stint to go as well, so they might even want to try and better that again. So, but Reyes has got to be careful. Like you said, he's sliding around a little bit. Not good for the tires. The more oversteer, the worse it is for your tires. You're going to cook them a little bit too early. So, hopefully, he's able to keep those tires in check for the next 27 minutes before Presley hops back in. Kian.
Yeah, 27 minutes. That is the time that we're looking at towards the end of the stint here. We'll be treated, I think, towards this end, because first and third place will be changing drivers once more. Second and fourth place will not, which means that those drivers will potentially have a more, they'll be warmed up more than the other drivers will have been, having taken a break between those stints there. And it will really come down to who can capitalize best on their relative track position in that last part of the race, who can stay consistent, stay quick, and most importantly, make the move when it comes down to it.
Indeed, and again, halfway point of the race, they're thinking about this point. They want to actually nail these stints at the moment, because, for example, like the likes of Reyes, he's actually dropped up a bit. He was about 3.2 seconds, now it's back to 3.5. How do you reckon that this pace fluctuation is attributed to, Kian?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the number 10's been taking earlier pit stops than the others, so that might mean that he has that, he hits that purple patch in the tires a bit earlier than the others, that point where, they're warmed up, they're operating perfectly, there's not too much wear on them, so they can really nail out a couple of strong laps, and then drops off a little bit quicker than the drivers ahead of him. And, it's an interesting one as well, because Thasby's car has more success ballast. They will have Ray's car, I believe, has a little bit more success ballast than O'Hara's car, so they'll be dealing with a bit more potential tire wear from that added weight there. But it's going to be another instance, I think, of that driving style. Some drivers prefer to have it a bit smooth. Some drivers prefer to really load the tires up super quick on corner entry and get that slip angle going. But at the end of the day, it's, it works out one way, works out another. Right now, it's working out for O'Hara, and not so much for that JMX Phantom car.
Yep, indeed. And despite all three of them driving Ferraris, 3 different driving styles seems to be the key difference here, and between all 6 drivers, I think, because there are 6 drivers between those among those 3 cars. So, yeah, the drivers, again, the key difference maker in this class of racing.
Specifically because they're all in the same car as well. And it has to be said that Thasby and Elif have done a brilliant job maintaining that second position, and at times fighting for first position with that extra success ballast, which the Laundry House team, of course, will not have to the same degree.
Yeah, it's a good point as well, because they're at 9 kilograms of ballast. They're running the same car. It's not like one of them has a car advantage over the other until you put in that ballast. So them getting a second or third from this is not the end of the world. Right now, Laundry House aren't the leaders in the championship. They're fighting JMX Phantom in the championship. So this is good points for Laundry House, but their main rivals that they have to worry about now is Russell Reyes and that JMX Phantom car.
And Reyes, of course, started the season out in a different car, number 311, but I think because the pace that he shows in these races proved to be a bit too tantalizing for them to be placed in another car, they're going to have to put all their bets in that number 10 car, and it's paying dividends right now. 3rd place overall, and 3rd place in the Pro class, so he's going to get points, crucial points here, but losing out a bit slightly to Thasby, albeit the fact that fastest lap is more than going to make up for it. So at best, the damage is only about 2 points lost, I guess.
And look who's entered back into the fray. Alexis Clepano has made his way back into the server at some point, and, you know, he's back in the fray. He's still ahead. He's got Con, he's got Anastas, he's got Bernard Chan as well. So he's not doing too poorly. He still comes out right now in what? Seventh in Pro-Am.
But it's a case of what might have been, because remember, we said just now that this number 31 car is battling for the championship, and they could really seriously use a good result here to gain points on the number 70, but now that even has gone up in smoke, and now they're going to consider this as their drop round as well, because the worst they finished so far is the 3rd place.
Yeah, so it's still important though to drive, keep some points in the bag just in case something happens, you know, what if this happens again. So they're still driving around, fair play to them for hopping back into the server as fast as possible, because it saved them a position to Bernard Chan, who's in the same category as them. And they've still could catch up realistically. If they drove fast enough, they might be able to catch up to that pack of 3 kind of Pro-Am cars. It'd be a bit of a push, but not impossible.
4 laps though. 4 laps behind the next car, which is Shazwan Shafiq. Yeah, well, 3 laps across the line, but just now it says 4. Whoa, that is quite close. Again, Joshua Nubbers has in the most awkward of positions every time he tries to give a position to the GT3 cars, and it's amazingly, he's still leading the race by about 28 laps. And look at that, 2nd place, Nazir Asman, 20 seconds behind. So 1st and 2nd are back as you are at the start of the hour.
Yes, as we look back at the leaders now, remember when that gap was 4 tenths and they were going side by side a couple, like 20 minutes ago?
Seems like a long time ago now.
But yes, plenty of time still to catch up. Anything could happen. It's endurance racing. So Andrew Lawrence will be getting back in that car. And we'll have to wait and see what happens. But yeah, I think I've said this a few times already, but O'Hara is just, lap time wise, you look at it, 35.5. Russell Reyes is also kind of doing similar lap times, 35.4. But Tusby just seems to be a little bit slower than the both of them, and is just losing that little bit of ground, unfortunately.
Yeah, in fact, you can safely say that O'Hara, despite the box start, is absolutely slapping the field right now. 7 seconds ahead of Tusby as he comes across the line. Tusby looking as though, I think the leg shaking at the start of the stint may have tied him up a bit. 7.5 seconds now, would you believe it? And Reyes is only 2.8 behind. So, battle between the championship leaders coming right up.
Yeah, I think O'Hara turned down the difficulty a little bit. But yeah, Russell Reyes catching up. His tyres aren't going off like we were worried that they were. So could make some entertaining races when between him and Tusby once they chuck Presley back in as well. 20 minutes, it might be tough for Reyes to catch him in time, but Presley's going to hop in. And the JMS car's been kind of pitting earlier than the rest of them from memory. So,
yep.
Or at least, actually no, they pitted at the same time last time around, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
That is a... Ooh, that was close. Thought he was going to go try and go around the outside of that car for a moment. I was like, please don't do that. But yeah, very interesting to see how this is playing out. There's a bit of a battle going on actually right now between 13 and 12.
But it is Reyes after all, because I mean, I've been driving him in multiple leagues. He is known for a guy to be diving one on the inside when you're least expected. And I think you raced with him at least a couple of times before, so you kind of know what his kind of style is.
Yeah, he does have sometimes that bit of an aggressive driving style, which can also play into his advantage because sometimes when a driver is a bit more aggressive, the driver in front might be a bit more cautious. You know, be like, okay, I'm not going to risk it, you know, kind of just let him go, which can sometimes play to his advantage. Sometimes can end in accidents. Yeah. But this looks like it's a good battle right now for 13th and 12th, the closest battle we have on track until Reyes catches Tusby. But yeah, there's also a little bit of battle. Copano's catching up to Chew. He's making up that lost ground after that unfortunate disconnect after they were doing so well. Oh, what was that?
Oh, who was that? I'm looking at the car number right now.
That was a GT4, I believe.
It was a GT. No, it wasn't one of the GT4s. I think. It was Ronquillo, wasn't it? Because I saw it was a blue car behind, so it might have been the number 59 right behind there, belonging to Mean Machine Sim Racing. So they went off big time. Luckily, no big casualties involved and no damage to either party, but that was close. And Kian, we know full well that, especially in a sim race, despite it being 4 hours, it's actually quite a sprint if you think about it in the grand scheme of things. It's still rather tiring, isn't it, Kian?
Yep, every single second of every single lap counts in endurance racing because, you know, it's very easy to settle yourself into a rhythm and, you know, find yourself a nice little groove. But then the person behind you might be going a couple times a lap quicker, and you got to start pushing more, and then they'll start pushing more, and eventually you're pushing every lap as hard as you can, and you're always wanting to gain that advantage. It's endurance racing. Anything can happen, so every last tenth of a second counts in that buffer.
Indeed, and sometimes you can also have that buffer being eradicated when a certain amount of fatigue sets in. Yeah, 4 hours for some of us, like for you and me and Josh, we've done 6-hour races non-stop. In fact, you've even done 7 hours straight before. It's not that tiring once you're used to it, but for some of these drivers, that actually is quite tiring, isn't it? For even just 1.5 hours.
Yeah, it really is. Because you know, you put a lot of force in it depends on your driving style as well. You know, some people really smash the brakes, and because of that, they wear their legs out a bit more. Some people overdrive a little bit on the wheel, and that tires their shoulders out. So, you know, you do have to be relatively fit both of mind and body in these race experiences and these endurance races to really capitalize on your stints.
We wanted to focus on this one car right now because I think that's drive-through number 6 for the number 49. 7 actually, according to our feed right now. 7 drive-throughs.
We have a drive-through that's not his car. Hold on, we've got one for the car in P11 right now. That's actually
One of the Z Challenge cars, yep. Ao Yong, who was involved in that little scuffle with JVLI at the start of the race, and then proceeded to wipe JVL altogether and cause a disqualification. So that's a drive-through for that car, and I presume probably it's it may not be just a steward's penalty. It might just be cut track penalties as well.
cool. We can always check the steward's report and have a look. But yeah, Russell Reyes, 1.6 seconds. It's getting closer, Keaton, isn't it?
He is, but has Anastas retired? Because that was drive-through, but they were stopped in the box. So, and they had been pitted for a little while now. So I think that might spell the end of that rapid KL car.
Someone's running to catch the bus. They're just waiting for him.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. 1.6 seconds is that gap, as Josh so kindly pointed out as he comes through the final corner at the start. His next lap, he's pushing on Fasby. He is pushing. 1.4 seconds. Is that what I see now?
Yeah, 1.444. Very blessed. As he catches up to Tusby. Now having a look at the grid here. We've got 16 minutes until we head to the final pit stops, final driver swaps, final push to the end. But 9.5 seconds out in front. Can Tusby catch up to Lawrenson?
Yeah, that is a question. That's a tricky question right now because look at that. The amount of pace that Tusby has lost about 1 second right now. It's now 9.5 seconds between himself and O'Hara, while Reyes 1.4 seconds behind. This is getting close, as now we're going to pass the commentary back to Afiq, who will be taking over for the rest of the race, I think. Okay, not for the rest of the race, but we'll just swap in time. There you go, Afiq. Driver swap live on camera.
Driver swap.
I call
Commentator
it a
swap.
driver swap. I'll call it more towards a commentary swap, but no, nevertheless, drive-through number 7 for car 49. Who would have thought?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, imagine getting 5 drive-throughs. Like,
Imagine getting 7 in a 4-hour race.
yeah.
You know, a little bit unfortunate for us. Ivan's wheel disconnected, so
dear.
I guess it's time for him to get a direct drive. And I think probably change the livery on that Bentley because the Bentley is wouldn't say not good looking, but I think that because it's we're using the replicated livery, we're getting a lot of drive-thrus today, more than we've ever gotten in the past 1.5 years of racing in ERGP.
Oh yeah, got to put on that express livery, but
High-speed rail.
high-speed rail. Yeah, it looks like Oyong is going to the pits right now to complete their drive-through. But yeah, around 15 minutes to go. We're over halfway through this championship right now. If you're just tuning in, we've got Laundry House leading after a bit of a shaky start. We've got Jackie Wong leading for the Pro-Am category, which you can see by the black numbers on the timing screens. The white numbers indicate the Pro drivers, the black ones indicate the Pro-Am drivers, and then the red will indicate the GT4s. So, Jackie Wong is leading after Alexis Clopano and Alan J. Cruz were having a good battle, but then Alexis disconnected. and then had to rejoin, but is in now 7th. And then we've got Joshua Nabas, who is still driving in that 21 car, staying strong, just about 20 or 30 seconds clear of Nazir Azman. So it might be a battle potentially brewing on later there, but yeah.
He's a lap down, isn't he, Nazir Azman? On Joshua Nabas.
Or maybe if he's just going for a pit stop, maybe, but
Maybe he is. Well, that gap
26
does
seconds.
look, yeah, 26 seconds. So it does look huge, but anything can happen. 1 hour and 13 minutes remaining before checker fractions.
You just need a GT that's a bit hungry. Just punts him off the road, and you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So never know. All still to play for Nazir. And Josh will be trying to extend that gap as well. So we are on board with Mr. Reyes in the JMX Phantom car. He is 1 second behind Tasby now. So we've got the 1 Ferrari, the 111 Ferrari, and the 10 Ferrari. So Reyes really they should choose the 11 for the 111 and 11 cars, but yeah, just seems to have that little bit of a pace advantage over Tasby right now. But will he be able to catch him before the stint ends, or will he have to wait for the undercut/overcut as another drive-through for Oriol?
A little bit unfortunate. I have no idea why, but I reckon that's for Stewart's protest as well. Or it might be a drive-through. Unfortunately, we couldn't see who gave the penalty. Maybe the game gave it the penalty because of the track limit warning. Maybe the Stewards gave him the penalty.
Maybe all those were Stewart's penalties. Just hiding from us. But yeah, that's the second one they've got actually, so that's really unfortunate for them. But yeah, 1.1 seconds to gap now, over 10 seconds now. So Andrew O'Hara has had a good stint, I'd say.
It's an excellent stint. I mean, consistently, well, his last lap is in the low 35s, 135s.
34 even.
34 even, yeah, 34.8. So a little bit very impressive by Andrew O'Hara. So he is the quickest man in the track at the moment.
Track is getting a little bit cold though, 30 degrees now, it was 37 before.
Yeah, it's times to multiply it, definitely gets the track a lot colder than normal one time.
You know what we need some rain. Where's the rain?
In Perth.
In Perth. Is it raining there in Perth?
It has been the last couple of days. Right now it's a little bit grey. It's probably going to rain again, but
Yeah, same applies here in KL. It's been raining here. It's been raining cats and dogs here for the last few days.
It rains here every day, doesn't it?
Well, it does. There's an SX GT3 in the middle of the way. Get out of the way. You don't want to be in the middle of all this. Russell Reyes, go look at that. 0.9 of a second when he was trying to pass the Honda. What's the gap now?
Might be a little bit more maybe. The Honda didn't look like it got out the way cleanly. But yeah, almost got.
I guess so that brings up another question. What will JMX do? Kayan, if you were JMX team principal or JMX engineer, would you rather go for the overcut or would you rather go for the undercut?
I think this late in the race, you really want to just try and run this fuel stint as long as you can, so you can minimize the amount of fuel you need to take to the end, and that gives you a quicker car in those closing stages, especially considering the fact that the Stratos car will have more success ballast than that JMX Phantom car, which means that Phantom, when they do close up to that rear end of Thasby, they should technically have the quicker car and be able to make a bit of an easier time of overtaking than Thasby had trying to get past Andrew Lawrenson.
So JMX Phantom, so as you said, what would the team principal do? We'll find out, because Martonio will be getting in the car, and he's the team principal. So, we'll see what he wants to do. I think what he'll want to do is he'll want to overtake Tasby and get that championship lead, though. That'd be a good idea. Oh no!
Is it a server or is it the driver?
I hope it's
I'm
not.
seeing a couple of high ping spots.
O'Hara is. Oh no!
Oh, everyone's getting high pings.
Oh no! This is not good.
This is not good.
This is not good.
So if you're outside of Singapore, then you're gonna be in trouble.
Yeah, O'Hara I think's on the east coast of Australia, so he's already got high ping as it is. Yeah, Clapano just looks like he's got so much lag. Clapano might disconnect again. I hope he doesn't.
Might disconnect again.
Maybe not. Maybe. Potentially.
A bit twitchy.
That is the other thing about eRacing. So we have our like engine failures sort of, which are the disconnects. So yeah, they unfortunately do happen sometimes. Can happen. Looks
It's
like
a little
he's-
comical to watch.
Yeah, it is, but I hope it doesn't get worse because as it stands, Andrew O'Hara has the highest ping.
Oh dear, looks like a lot of people have high
Oh.
ping. But yeah. Oh well, let's keep an eye on the battle. Russell Reyes and Tusby, these two probably won't be affected by the server issues. I mean, one's in the Philippines, one's in Singapore, so they should be right. But yeah,
Oh,
maybe
look
not.
at- oh.
Oh,
Maybe not.
oh no!
Oh no, everyone's flying. Oh,
I think that's the end.
I hope it's not the end. Looks like
Is that the
everyone.
server?
Yeah, looks like everyone disconnected. Everyone got disconnected, ladies and gentlemen. So this is the first time. Well, it has happened before, but not this late into the race.
Oh well, we'll go to a quick ad break and we'll come back.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. When allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
I've got smiles as bright as the world. Josh has, well, a beautiful smile all the way down from Perth. Unfortunately, the server has disconnected, and we're trying to resolve the issue very quickly to the best of our abilities. So we'll be back with one more ad break, and we'll come back into the stream later on.
Pewter is about possibilities. It is an idea made real. Crafted with precision. It can make tradition timeless. Pewter evolves. when allowed to be free, it can captivate you. Pewter is our legacy, and we're keeping the legacy alive. Royal Selangor, since 1885.
That was Mozart.
Welcome back. Welcome back to ERGP Endurance Edition Round 3 Misano. Unfortunately,
Yep.
her race has been red flagged due to an internet connection with the server, and the race has been stopped. It's very unfortunate, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit anticlimactic considering the fact that we had a race that was building up quite nicely up to that point where the leaders in both classes, all three classes still had races to be won. And in Pro, especially, we would not have known how close they were between number 1 and 111. Well, race has been stopped, unfortunately, and we might just get some interviews with certain drivers about what they thought from the race. And in this case, we get the interviews from every single winner from each class.
Yep, but unfortunately, we have to go through who won in each category. So in
Take it away.
GT3 Pro, it is Andrew O'Hara and Andrew Lawrence, and the two Andrews in the number 1 Laundry House Championship winning car from last year. And then in the Pro Am category, you have Jackie Wong, and who else are his teammates?
We forgot on the spot, did we?
Forgot on the spot, didn't we? Our mistake.
Yeah.
Right, Statman Ammo doing his job. So
I'll be
it's the
looking
number
back into the-
69 Z Challenger Bentley car, driven by Chris Sang and Jackie Wong. Yes, I remembered now. And last but not least, in the
Chris
GT4
Sang, yes.
category, we have Joshua Nabus and
Lance Padilla.
Lance Padilla winning the GT4. So now we have Joshua Nabus with us. In the Zoom. Joshua, can you hear us?
Yes, I do. I do. I do.
Congratulations on winning the GT4 category, Joshua.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's unfortunate that we had to end this on a red flag, but we take it.
Yeah. What was the race like for you? What was the race? How did the race started for you? How did it ended all the way up to that point?
Yeah, the race start was actually clean from us. We had no issues about the start. A little bit of damage, like one damage when I pitted. And then the second and third stints went as planned. Uh, we had no issues. We had no major issues whatsoever. It's been fortunate for us.
And speaking of how the race went, you had a few close shaves with the GT3 cars, especially the fact that we caught you on camera quite a few times while you're leading, tried to get out of the way. We thought that was quite hair-raising. How was it for you behind the wheel to give way at such tight positions?
Yeah, being at Misano, it's a given that we have to like give way, and there will be times that we have to give way on tight corners. I just did my best to not be a nuisance to the other GT3 drivers, as well as to my teammate, which also tried to just not interfere with them as much as possible.
That's a good thing to have, especially the fact that you also had your own race to attend with. And at one point it was close at the start, but then it just spread out a bit. Did you like that to be some pretty much in no man's land to have no other car in your class attacking you?
Yeah, actually, the first stint, there were, I think that was just 3 second. That was just a 3 second gap, and then on the second stint, I think, the second place pitted a bit early, and then after the third stint, we ended up with like a 20-second gap, and it was great because we had breathing room, I guess.
Alright.
Well, thank you so much, Joshua, for the interview. Congrats on the win. Congrats to your team as well, Veloce Regazzo.
Their
And
first
congrats to
ever
Las
win.
Padilla as well. Yeah, first win in your GP,
Yes.
isn't it, Joshua?
Yes, it's my first endurance race
Oh,
too.
even
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations. We're so
Yeah,
happy for you.
it's been a great moment. Thank you, thank you.
No worries. Next up, who do we have next? We have in GT3 Pro M, number 69Z Challenger car. Long time coming for them, all the way from Hong Kong.
Yep.
You got the lineup of Chester Lam, Chris Sang, who is immensely quick, and also you have
Jackie Wong.
Wong.
Yep, and the fact that they did bids for that particular crew as well, because remember, Car 70 couldn't even start the race. And there we go, we have Chester on the line. And
Hello.
hello, and a nice particular car on the back there. I think that was probably during the disconnection, wasn't it? Yes. Dukes of Hazzard style, isn't it?
Yeah. Chester, how was it for you?
I've been on the spectator side for like 3 hours for the race. I couldn't get like a second of driving time, so it's good to see us leading for like a minute, I think. But yeah, it's win and we'll take it. Yeah.
And the fact that you had a really close battle with the number 31 Lamborghini of Allen Racing for about one and a half to 2 hours at the start of the race, and you had some close shaves at that point. Was it really a huge amount of pressure to deal with a guy that fast, in the form of Clapano at that time?
Oh, then we'll have to ask Chris then.
Oh, Chris.
Oh, okay,
oh,
so-
Chris. Is Chris there? Is Jackie there? Is Chris there?
Yeah.
I believe they are.
Yes, I have here.
Okay,
here.
yeah. Okay, so we can just admit all them in. We just pretty much do it like a podcast style chat. So there is Chris Sung.
Oh, handsome boy.
Yeah. Hong Kong style in the making right there. Chris, can you hear us?
First of all, thank you. Yeah, I feel I am lucky for the start because I am starting pieces, and after the turn one, I feel appreciate that I can get into P3, and the main mission in the first two stints is that just letting the pro cars car through and not fighting too hard for them because that will damage both of us time and placing. So I just want to let them through and focus on my main business. Yes.
And that was a good thing because it was the class win that you were after, and you didn't want to interfere those guys. Talk us through that collision that you had with Alexis Clapano. How that actually came about.
Uh, so some incident with the Lamborghini.
31.
The 31 eRacing Lamborghini.
Yeah, maybe some. Did we crash with them, or yeah? Because I don't really remember.
Yeah, I think because a lot of things happened during the race. But what we can tell you was that Alan just got close. No, not Alan, but it was Kalpana who got close to the back of you, and you both collided. He was nice enough to actually give you back the position, though. So I think you might remember that one. He slowed for you and get by.
Oh, okay. So I think is respectful for both of us because he did race for us and let me get back the position. So that is great for both of us.
Okay, so that's good sportsmanship on the show there. Now we can probably try to get some of the other drivers involved. So thank you, Chris, and thank you, Chester, for being part of this. Sorry for Chester, we had to cut you off short there. We'll probably get back to you soon. Now we're going to get to some of the other drivers, including Andrew Lawrenson, who was the star of the show up in front for the GT Pro class. Andrew Lawrenson, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Loud
hear
and clear, mate.
Crystal.
Sweet.
So, tell us, okay, before we get to the story of the race, can you tell us what happened at the start? It seems as though you got bogged a bit.
Yeah, no, as best we can tell, Andy had a very poorly timed lag spike just as the lights went green. So he missed it by that much. And when it came back, it was green and everyone else was already bolted, so to speak. Ooh. So we, pole position's overrated. Too easy from there. We had sticks to give us something to do for the race.
Yeah, you guys had a lot to do, especially the fact that Andy O'Hara had to just claw his way through back up to the front and made it there. And then when we get to your stint, it looks as though he built up quite a lead, but you kind of struggled in that first part, did you?
Yeah, that was definitely Andy's race. I hopped in and for some reason I'd mucked up the pressures on the car when I hopped in, so I was about half a pound under. It was running about 27.1, 27.2, so the car was balanced but not quick. Which also meant the first couple of laps, they were really under pressure. And that lost us all the gap that was there. And I spent most of the time defending against a Leaf. And he must have been running far less wing than us because it was very quick down the back. But we could defend where we needed to. And but yeah, that was fun. Bit of good racing there, nice and stressful. But that was definitely Andy's race. He carried the team through there. So.
But good job as well
much credit at my end.
But good job as well for the defending because you really kept Alif at bay throughout the entire race and during your stint before you gave back to O'Hara. And it must have been very difficult to keep a car that was supposed to be race-winning potential, but because of the pressures, it just became that much more difficult, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and I was aware. I guess the only silver lining was I knew why the car was slower. It wasn't as though you were wondering and you were trying to outdrive yourself. We knew it wasn't going to be competitive when we saw that the pressures were never coming up. So it was just a matter of maintaining the life and the tyres as best we could and hoping that averaged over the stint we'd still have some pace at the end to defend with and just park the thing in the middle of the road where we needed to and concentrating on a decent exit so we could defend as much as possible at the end of the straights, which seemed to work. But yeah, the Leaf was great, drove nice and close, didn't drive into us, so that made it easier as well. But there was a lot of green in the mirror. A lot of green.
And not just green screen, of course, if you would think about it like green screen the whole way. It was almost entirely green. Yeah. One last thing. We kind of noted your technique on the brakes, which was right foot braking. It's a bit like Shane Van Gisbergen, isn't it?
I'll take that.
But how do you still manage to keep the pace up with that? Because normally when we're all left foot braking, your foot's on one brake and then the acceleration you can focus on the other. You seem to do both of those things with one foot and still maintain the pace. How do you reckon you do that?
I'm old. Driving manuals with 3 pedals. If it was a Formula car or a kart, left foot, sweet. But I just feel more comfortable with the right foot. And at the end of the day, I've never been much of a fan of using both pedals at once. You're basically braking the car against itself, which, okay, you can stabilize the thing, but you're fixing a problem with the wrong tool for the job. There's probably, a tenth or so hiding in there if I did go left foot, and realistically I should. I didn't really have the pace on it today, but it's more of a comfort thing. I can modulate the brakes in. I tend to drive it differently when you look on the traces and whatnot. It's a different way to find the pace. But I think the true answer is I'm old and it's old habits die hard. That's really the long and the short of it.
But still quite quick on the right foot regardless. So thank you to Andrew Lawrenson. Now we go back to the other Andrew, O'Hara, and we'll hear his side of the race. Okay, so thank you for that, Lawrenson. We'll see you next time for round 4. Cheers.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Now we go to O'Hara. So Andrew O'Hara, can you hear us?
Yep, you hear me.
Right, so we already heard from Lawrenson just now from the side of the race on how, from his side, where he saw you kind of bog the start a bit. From that point, did you feel any pressure from trying to actually claw back that deficit? Because almost the entire field from the top 10 nearly swamped you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that race, the temps were pretty hot, so getting caught behind people, you can always save the tyres. So I guess there's some positives to it. And we got lucky with a few GT4s. Just able to sort of pick the opposite way to go around them and got past a few people, which made it a bit easier. And yeah, once sort of got the clear track, the tyres were yeah, in a bit better condition than everyone else. So that made it a bit easier.
And anything you want to add, Avi?
Yeah, you were superb. You were flying in the last hour of the race before you got red flag. Did you ever felt pressured by Tusby, knowing the fact that Leaf was going to jump onto the final hour of the stint?
Definitely when I come out of the pits, he was very quick then. I had to defend there a few times, but yeah, once sort of got to 0.6, Misano's just impossible to pass if you're not really, really close to someone. So once it got out to 0.6, I can manage it. And then I don't know whether he hurt his tyres or he just backed off to save him a bit, because I saw one lap later on he was doing back down to 35.0 when I think Reyes caught back up to him. So I think it was more saving the tyres than anything. But yeah, once it got out to 4 seconds or something, it was pretty comfortable then.
It was about 9 seconds towards the end before the race disconnected. We couldn't see if that particular strategy, whether or not the number one would have actually extended or the number 11 gotten close towards the end. You reckon that in that final stint, would the car still be strong enough to hold on to the lead?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like the main thing is with Misano, it's just hard to overtake. You don't, like, it's the end of the back straight where you're really waiting for the slipstream to come in. You get those corners, so it's pretty easy to defend. So yeah, I think we had it. Both being in Ferraris too makes it a bit easier.
And it's a Ferrari 123 as well. And first win of the season for you guys. It was a long time coming, but you finally got it in there, and now back in the championship hunt.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
Right. Cheers.
Thank you so much, Andrew Lawrenson. Thank you so much to the winners that we just interviewed. Now, it was an interesting race. I think I've said it a lot of times this season. Misano has delivered, just like every other track in the game, in the series. Misano, we visited new tracks: Kyalami, Misano, Imola, Donington. Well, 4 tracks.
Yeah, that was for the sprint edition, of course, but still, the race is delivered.
Yeah.
Even if there was sometimes there was some lull moments, but still, no, not lull. Lull. It's kind of like very slow pace. So, yeah. But regardless, the racing was still interesting, intense for everyone involved, and we unfortunately never got to see the end of this one. It just got a bit anticlimactic.
It got a bit anticlimactic. I mean, but I think the first 2 hours of Misano did prove that I think it's a much better track than probably Hungarian when it comes to racing. I've always liked Misano. I think Misano today has been brilliant in terms of racing. All the other tracks, I think we've picked a very good number of tracks that prove to be excellent when it comes to giving out actions, not just for us commentators because we're commentating the race, but to also you spectators as well.
Yeah. And the fact that I think it was better to just use this track compared to, say, Monza last year. Monza, okay, granted, Monza last year was also a good race towards the end, especially you involved in that particular battle. But I think because Monza, the problem is the first corner is just causing a lot of mayhem. It's just so tight. Misano, it allows a bit more room to breathe on that because there's a lot of tarmac runoffs.
Yeah. But I guess that's the beauty of Misano. That's the beauty of almost every track in the game. We're looking forward to have more tracks in ACC. And if I'm not mistaken, sprint round 4 will be in Circuit of the Americas.
Yep. Fingers crossed that.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, that the circuit will come just in time before that particular race starts. So, a bit anticlimactic end to this particular race. And we were waiting to see how that was going to play out in terms of strategy into the final stint. But for now, at least, we can say congratulations to the winners in each class. Number 1, number 69, and number 28. You know who you guys are. The Laundry House guys, the Z Challenger guys, and the Veloce Ragazzo guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the race, and hopefully you at home as well enjoyed watching it. We'll see you next time for round 4. But for now, it's goodbye from me, Amiazik, from Muhammad Afiq, from Josh Perwin, from Kian Butler, and from Alex Young. It's goodbye for now, and we'll see you next time.